We are just about to get started, guys, and let's go ahead and yes, I am officially back. We are back in Miami. Hopefully you guys enjoyed CES. I'm definitely going to throw a poll out there for you guys to let you I want to hear your opinions of what you saw at CES. No, unfortunately, I am not at CES. The CES actually ended yesterday. I flew out yesterday and flew back in. As you guys know, of course, the title is probably alerting some of you guys out there, probably curious about exactly what's going on with the whole RAM and GPU situation. Unfortunately, in the industry, now we can definitely talk a bit more about it. And man, I am beat. I know right after this stream, I'll probably end up passing out. But what did you guys think of the whole CES coverage? Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was so bad to the point where I actually had to come back home and ice my ankle because I ended up, I think I like had a slight sprain to it. So hopefully it's all good. When I was checking out my steps to see how many steps I had during the whole CES 2026, it was a decent, probably roughly around 27,000 steps a day. So it's like equivalent to like about, I think it was like 5 or 6 miles a day. More than that, actually. I gotta look at my phone and share it with you. Yeah, it was no joke. Yeah, 15 miles. Oh, wow. Yeah, so much more than I thought. But it was a lot of walking, and I was beat. Let me tell you. Like, I barely ate. Like, anytime during the coverage, I would just eat breakfast, have my coffee at Starbucks, then go over to CES, and then probably wouldn't eat till like maybe about 5 or 6 in the evening. So I wouldn't even have time to go and stop for lunch because I felt that was going to be a waste of time. Yeah, practically. It was just like going to hotel and then going to the main convention hall as well. And then some of them were in suites. So that was a lot to cover as well. There's a lot of content I still had to produce for you guys. I've been trying to produce as much as I could. I think I missed one day, and that was because that was the day of the flight when I had to fly back in. But there's certainly a lot of great stuff, especially in the PC hardware space. At least mostly from a lot of the brands, the PC hardware space isn't too bad. Of course, I know a lot of people are feeling a bit mixed about the whole them bringing up like the whole AI thing. Luckily, some of the brands didn't really bring it out as much. And the funny thing is about speaking of the whole AI side, Dell was actually one of the brands where they felt like our consumers don't really care about AI, so we're not even going to bring it up. So, and that came out of Dell, which was pretty surprising. Yes, a lot of people felt like that. They felt that it was a bit overwhelming on that side. In about like probably about like another 5 minutes, I'll get that poll ready for you guys, and you can certainly answer it and let me know what your guys' thoughts are. If you didn't see this part of the stream, I think Waffle Skater wasn't there to get to see this, but we went onto Twitch during the way to the hotel over to the Venetian. And while we were over there, I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and try to get into SK Hynix. Let's go into SK Hynix and ask some questions. So I went over there. I went over to SK Hynix and I tried to get in. And they said, oh, sorry, this is only for appointments only. This is only bookings were allowed. So I said, oh, is there another time I could come in, maybe a little bit later when you guys aren't busy? I just am curious about what you guys have to offer. And they were practically just shut tight. They did not want to share anything. Did you cover Cooler Master with the... No, I didn't. I wasn't able to. And that was... Cooler Master was like all the way over on another hotel, and plus it was like one of those events where it was like you had to make sure you had an appointment. So I definitely got to do a bit better on the scheduling side when it comes to some of these places. I know, like the SK Hynix, like I should dress up in kind of like a Mission Impossible, where just say that, oh yeah, I have a meeting with SK Hynix. Oh yeah, remember I'm I'm leaving. We talked over the phone about this appointment at 11 o'clock. Can you fit me in? Should have pulled something like that and tried to get in, try to hijack the meeting. That would have been pretty funny for the most part if we were able to do something like that. But for the most part, it seems that a lot of manufacturers, I know a lot of you are certainly curious about the whole situation. And the situation with GPUs and RAM, a lot of the companies, MSI, Gigabyte, Asus, I asked just about every one of them to see how they're dealing with the current issue. Now, a lot of them are doing the best way of handling the situation. As some companies actually have some ideas of what to do. Some people may not like the idea, which I will speak over in a little bit, which is going to be a bit interesting in the most part. Obviously, SK Hynix has no urgency. Samsung has no urgency. There's even rumors about Micron like building another fab, but the funny thing is, get this: the other fab that they're supposed to be building is in New York, and that it's supposed to be like done production by like 2042, and it's to again build more HBMs. That's how vested Micron is currently with the whole building the fabs just for AI. But the funny thing is, it's all the way out to 2042, so that's a really long time to uh, be really relying on tech such as AI, and that just shows you how some companies are vested in it. Now, speaking of which, let me see. Uh, so I bought a set of G Skills 6000 mega transfers RAM in January 24th for $224, and now that same yes. And the problem is it's going to consistently go up. Unfortunately, it's not going to go down. Everybody in the industry is certainly talking about it. It's actually hard to get like decent pricing on GPUs, and for like certain models, it's really hard to pinpoint it because they're trying to figure out with the current volatility. And Takuma actually brought it. Takuma actually brought up a good point here, and that was that a lot of RTX 5090s, if you have noticed or if you haven't noticed, are starting to run lower and lower and lower in supply. If you are looking to make a purchase for a RTX 5090, it's definitely a good idea to take a look at your options, especially now. 5090s are certainly meant to go up in pricing because of the issues that they are having with the whole VRAM situation, because that's all aligned with each other when it comes to VRAM, RAM, NAND. They all practically come from the same wafer. So in order for you to be able to enjoy things like GPUs and RAM and SSDs, it's cut from that same wafer with a much less yield. So if you are looking for a GPU, I would highly suggest taking a look out there because it's obviously going to get worse. RAM has already gone up in intrinsic value, as I'm sure a lot of you have seen. Take a look at like Newegg, take a look at Micro Center. You can see that it just consistently goes up. It just doesn't get better in that sense. Now, I was speaking on behalf, like with some of the great guys over at CSC, I mean CES, and you can see how fried my brain is like from just that whole week. But anyway, over at CES, I was talking to some of the great guys out there, and they were saying that a lot of the investors are pretty much scared to keep investing into things like wafers because they don't know if it's going to go to waste. So, sure, they can build more fabs if they wanted to, but the investors would have to be willing to spend more money. The problem with that is if they do spend more money on these fabs and say these wafers don't pan out like they do, then the funny thing is, it would be great for all of us, honestly, if that happened. But anyway, what would happen is that it would just deflate at a incredible rate. Like they would try to do their best to get rid of all those wafers that they created for practically nothing. So investors don't want to take that risk as well. So that is some of the issues that are currently going on in the industry when it comes to the RAM situation. So I know one of the companies mentioned something interesting. Some of you guys might be interested in it, and you guys, I'm sure, can figure out which company it could possibly be, but they even thought about doing like things like embedded RAM. Wouldn't that be pretty interesting inside of a motherboard? So that way you wouldn't have to worry about getting RAM. But of course, that's quite a controversial subject because, say, if you want to expand on RAM, maybe they have only like one or two slots to expand on RAM. So I don't know how some of you guys would certainly feel about a project like that. What's up, Crozer? What's up, JJ Hickles? I got 64 gigabytes of DDR5 and 525 Australian dollars on the 29th of December. So glad that I bought it right away. And that's for a lot of people out there. Believe it or not, for anyone out there, especially that's US based, I can say this for sure. Crucial. I know we're not a big fan of Crucial right now, but if anybody out there is looking for RAM, that's more or so one of the better deals that you can get. But the problem is, if you do get Crucial RAM, that the timing is much more tighter. So if you're more into the overclocking side, say if you have an Intel board where it's a bit more necessary to do it on something like that, if you wanted to, or where you have a bit more flexibility when it comes to the megahertz, then that I would highly recommend taking a look at something like that if you don't worry about overclocking. Now, for those who do, it's definitely better for you guys to look for something that's more like SK Hynix. So, yes, the supplies are declining at the moment for the RTX 5090. Interestingly, the RTX 5080 looks unaffected for now. And that's been, you know what the main reason is? It's because it's 16 gigabytes. I guarantee you, if that 5080 was to be like another, say 24, you would see the same situation. So people are purchasing, some people are purchasing because they need it. And then you have some people where they're buying it because they know that this is going to go up eventually. So, Crozer, what's going on? We can be honest here. Feels like anyone who wanted a 5090 is thinking that they aren't going to pay these raised prices now. That's true. A lot of people are certainly going to feel that way. I feel one of the craziest cards we can certainly all agree with is that the RTX 4090, which originally was priced and slated at $14.99, is currently still holding the price and will currently go up in value. And you usually don't see that in the used GPU market. Thank you for
Steve and Peter
subscribing,
subscribe to the
Steve.
channel.
Certainly do appreciate it. So I heard CES 2026 wasn't that good either. Google. Now I do got to say this, guys. This part is really interesting here. I've been to CES for this would be the third time I've been at CES. So for the third year, I got to say it seems that the crowd wasn't as big compared to 2025 and in 24. It was less, but there was a lot of definitely a lot of coverage out there. A lot of companies, they actually even added a bit more space in the at CES, which was the South Hall, which was something that Vegas was building for quite a while. But they added that space in there. Uh, so they had plenty to show, but it just wasn't as exciting as prior years because I think a lot of us had a certain indication of how CES was going to mention and talk about a lot of AI. Luckily, it didn't really get to that point with certain companies. Some companies didn't really talk about it. I already knew, like, when it first started, when I went to the Samsung event on Sunday, that they were going to start off with the whole AI side of things. But let's see what let's see. Yes, like me, I have two RTX 5090s, which Takuma is smart for doing. So, Hickle says I got a 9800 X3D and the 9070 XT. I don't care about overclocking, but hardware is good enough, 100%. Kim Chili says I should put my PC components in the PC case the conventional way. Do you think I should? Or put it into a desk because I'm going to have the best temperatures when building a PC with a water cooling system. Now, if you do put it into a desk, the most important factor is definitely breathability. If you, I don't know if you guys saw that. There's actually a lot of open cases that they're creating now from all the different brands, from ASUS, MSI. That they all have these really cool concepts about these open cases. But of course, it doesn't really work out as well when it comes to, say, if you have like a dog or a cat, or you happen to have a house where for some reason it collects a lot of dust. They do have those concepts out there. Make sure to look out for something like that, which are practically like almost like a test bench at that point. But anyway, if you do plan on getting a desk, I highly suggest make sure to see the breathability factor of it. Make sure it's just not covered in glass, that they actually have decent airflow going through it. Now, in conventional case, the good thing about it is you do have forced induction from fans, so that certainly does help the breathability when it comes to your PC components. With a desk, as you notice, if you notice a lot of desks out there, they don't really have fans in there. Instead, it's just like sitting in display. Looks pretty, but the problem is that you don't have as much airflow unless you have some sort of forced induction going in there, which you could always modify it if you're willing to put a component in there, like say if you want like an AC unit, even like if you have like a smaller AC unit where you even route it, which of course is you're going to spend some money on it. But anyway, if you do end up doing something like that where you kind of take away a bit more of the heat, it certainly can be done. But the more practical matter, I would say, is the easiest way is going through the case. So some companies didn't talk. Some companies didn't talk about AI. I know, I know. The one of the companies that would surprise you is Dell. They said that nobody cares about AI. The consumers don't. But it did feel like, I gotta say, it was a bit interesting, like some of the things that companies were bringing into the market for sure. There was definitely a lot of enterprise items that were there, such as server racks. And there's not going to be a lot of consumers out there interested in server racks. It was insane, though. I gotta say, AMD's Helios, that server rack is massive, by the way. Like anyone that is into like networking, I gotta say that thing is massive, and it's really tall. Like it's definitely one of the biggest servers I've ever seen in person. Uh, so that MSI Lightning is probably, yeah, 100%. That MSI Lightning is no joke. It's massive. It's so dope, though. I gotta say, it really is a dope, idea that MSI came out with. I'm glad they brought back the Lightning. I talked with the engineer that created the MSI Lightning, and it's just, he just created art right there. That was just a beautiful, beautiful GPU. Amir says, I got the Z890 Extreme in UK 700 Brit. Oh yeah, that's right, Amir. You ended up getting a deal. I still got to get with you about that. And it's actually more smaller problem than you think it is about the whole RAM situation. So Kim Julie says, I see if I put it into desk may fit up to 10 or up to 15 fans. Good to, yeah, if you're willing to do it, you can put like a massive fan on the desk. You can put like a really massive fan. Can you imagine that? And it doesn't have to spin as high because you don't have to worry about the RPMs as much because it's going to have those big fan blades. What's up, Wasabi? Good to see you. Hopefully you got to enjoy some of the I'm glad you were able to tune in onto the Gigabyte live coverage, that you got to see some of it just like you want it. I really wanted to cover MSI live, but the reception was just terrible. And I was running on 2 bands for you guys, and I was still not getting service. That's how bad it was. And I tried to see if they had like some sort of Wi-Fi for us, especially those who are streaming or for media use, and they didn't have any. They had a media room, but they didn't have it through the hotel, which is kind of crazy. I hope CES does improve that side of it. I hope that they provide internet for us. It would be great. Of course, it's going to be quite a bit of routers there if they do something like that. But are you getting the new Intel chip? If they come out with the new Arrow Lake refresh, yes. It seems that the SKU has come out of it. And you know what's pretty cool? Actually seeing those 9850X3D processors. That was amazing. And that same day, remember where I took the picture? If you guys checked it out, I took a picture of it. I also took a video of it as well, which I will work on after all of the content I gotta get through. But anyway, the 9850X3D, they were actually supposed to announce it that same day, but I guess they didn't. I'm not sure exactly why, but they don't have a release date or pricing really. Some of you probably seen pricing leaks or have an idea of when it's going to come out. But more than likely it's going to be somewhat soon. It's going to be in the imminent future. That was unavailable to see in the public. That was behind closed doors, just to let you guys know. The CD9850 X3D. But tomorrow or during next week, I will be shooting the video of my awesome. You got to do it, Wasabi. Shoot your video. I know that 9800 X3D is excited to finally leave out its box there. How bad was it? It was more like, yes, yes. It was just horrific. It was actually even worse when I went to the convention hall, because usually I get some decent signal, and I really wanted to show you guys the Pimax, which is a pretty amazing machine where you get 4K opticals per eye. One of the things that certainly impressed me in the show, I gotta say, was the X-Real Asus glasses, which are so light to wear, and it just plugs in via USB-C to any device of your choosing. Whether if you're using the Asus ROG Ally or your phone, you can reflect directly off that device. So I promise no more. Hey, you're not really BSing around. You're doing a lot of work. Moving's no joke when it comes to it. So no stress. Wasabi, upgrade with care. Not stressing, you won't enjoy it. As absolutely, still enjoy it. So the prices for here, check notes, are more than the. Yes, it's obviously going to be more than the 9800 X3D. In fact, just to let you guys know, everybody that's US based here, that has issues with the whole Newegg pricing, I did manage to speak to them. I did speak to Newegg guys, and I told them, like, hey, I talked to their higher ups and everything too. So I said, hey, just to let you guys know, you got to do a lot better with the pricing, because Micro Center's kicking your ass right now. And they're like, yeah, but there's only so many Micro Centers around the US. There's only like a few locations. But I'm like, but you can't think like that. You really have to be able to want to sell. You have to sell better than Micro Center. That's the whole purpose of Newegg. You're supposed to be the convenience factor, be the company that where you can rely for some decent pricing, like how you used to be. And hopefully they do take my opinion seriously when it comes to it. So I did let them know, like, you got to do a lot better with the pricing, because the pricing is just really rough with Newegg. So I have to say, I can't postpone any longer. It's a year since I bought the RAM. Hey, that RAM's worth a lot of money though. You just that's a value item right there. That's take a look at your pricing. It's practically better than the gold charts. my so how do you think of my guy's voice? Do you think it is set too low? If it is, let me know. If not, then I gotta say, you gotta turn up your volume, brother. So Intel CPUs trying to make a comeback. Absolutely. I think Intel CPUs have done a great thing. They actually, in my personal opinion, and I'm sure you guys might have felt the same way, Intel had a great keynote. They had an excellent keynote. I felt Panther Lake was awesome when they revealed the i3. They're bringing back the Intel feel again, which is awesome. I think that it's going to perform really well. 27 hours of battery life on a laptop is excellent, and that's with the internal GPU. So yeah, Chris, yes, they have to adjust the pricing. They really do. It's bad. Kamal says Nvidia is increasing production of RTX 30 series of RTX instead of the RTX 40 or 50 series. They say the VRAM used for productions of RTX 40 or RTX 50 series is required for AI. I'm not surprised, because I got to tell you, when it comes to the whole 60 series, for those who don't know the current rumors about Nvidia, when it comes to their new cards, as you know, it's postponed. Big whoop, big surprise. The 50 series Super isn't coming out anytime soon. In fact, it's even been delayed for even up to a year and a half. So if they do release a Super series, it won't be till mid of 27. So it's going to be quite some time if that is the case. Now, if they do release a new GPU, in fact, let me rewind real quick. Even if Nvidia decides to come out with a Super, they might even actually hold off on it. Instead, they might skip the whole Super series and go straight to the 60 series. And instead of going with G7 like they usually do, they might even swap it out and go HBM. If they go HBM, you know how expensive It's going to be for everyone, especially if it's going to be a high-end GPU. So, NVIDIA is increasing production of a RTX 30 series instead of an RTX 40 and 50 series. Yes. So, I did answer that question for you. So, NVIDIA is producing recycle to produce new GPUs. So, 60s in the second, yes. Second, well, that's just supers. Just to let you know, if they do if they do end up releasing 60 series, it won't be till maybe the end of 27, more than likely, to be realistic here. So rumors are now that the RTX 50, yes, absolutely, yep, that just went. It's funny that Takuma had brought that up too. It would not surprise me if the 5080 Super still has 16. Could you imagine that? Hey guys, we have a really good reasoning why we want to go 16 gigabytes for the RTX 5080 Super, and it's because we really want to emphasize the power of our GPU. It'll be some BS like that, right? The 60 series will be AI power slop and probably some backdoor BS limit usage, so the power. Yeah. So how did everyone take it? When Nvidia said, "Hey, everyone who gets GeForce Now, you get 100 gigabyte limit if you don't pay more." How do you guys think of that? So 16 gigabytes is not suited for 4K, in my opinion. I agree, especially if you're running so much of a higher refresh rate, just say, it's going to not be that great, especially on how high these refresh rates are getting. You're going from 240, you're seeing 330, you're seeing as even high up to 480 hertz. There's some that's even 1,000 hertz. So how's that going to be enough? So you have to be rich to own a modern PC in the near future. Everyone's going to be, the majority of PC gamers are going to be hanging on their 50 series for dear life, because this is going to be like the last excellent stage that we really had. And it seems like our golden age was mostly like around the, I'd say between the 20 series, not even, more like the 1000 series. I'd say like the 1000 series was like the golden age, and from there it was like the decline of the PC empire there, because as you know, PC is always the top dog when it comes to everything. But it seems like the decline is coming, and it's just, greed is just destroying it. So at least they didn't go back to the 10 series. That's a good point. That's a good point, Rugal. Mixed feelings about NVIDIA. I think a lot of people do. NVIDIA emphasize. Remember, guys, I was telling you I'm not going to the NVIDIA keynote, and you saw exactly the reason why. That is the main reason why I didn't go to the keynote, because I knew it was going to be absolute BS about AI. It wasn't announced. There was no real announcement when it came to GeForce. It was just all about NVIDIA, about them being the world's #1 AI company. So I know a lot of you were hoping for a little something, but NVIDIA is hyper focused on becoming the best. So you'll own nothing in Happy World Economic Forum. It's, I mean, that's why they're pushing the whole cloud gaming. It's insane, like how much cloud gaming that you've seen throughout CES. I mean, you've seen it over at Nvidia. They really want to push now. LG's pushing their cloud service. I know they're doing the like, oh, it's so convenient because you don't have to have the actual hardware. You can just game over the internet. But of course, not everyone's going to just want to game off the internet. What about the games you want to play offline? Can you download it and play it, or will they be like, oh, we can't trace how much gigabytes of data that you're using, so you can't play it? So that would be pretty crazy, right? So anyone got the comparison to how low 100? It's insanely low. 100 gigabytes is insanely low. So GPU shortage at Micro Center, deja vu again. Absolutely. So you might see those scalpers hanging around. As you guys remember, like anytime you go live over to Micro Center, you'll see like those 3-4 scalpers that are always there every weekend, just waiting for the cards to release so they can immediately post it on eBay. So time to get a plug in China so we can ship our GPU. You know what's crazy? They did come out with a GPU. I forget the name of the company, but they claim that they're better than the 5090, but at a much cheaper rate, which is, if that is true, that is a threat to Nvidia. And Nvidia will not play. They'll buy them out if they find out that's true. You know that. Nvidia would do that. So, nostalgia. Just to be clear, Chris, I stay with Fantex. I will. Oh, really? So you're staying with them? You know, I did get in contact with Fantex too, Takuma. They weren't at the show, unfortunately, but CyberPower PCs had a PC that they had, which is again, which we spoke about a little bit earlier, which is the open case PC that they have the concept of. So I'll reach out to them some more and see if I can get any more information about it. So I like your energy, man. Keep it up. The world is yes. You got to be positive. You got to make light out of nothing. So I'd rather pay an infinitely increasing monthly payment for delayed cloud gaming. So so you can SODIMM a 2 GPU and 250 watts. Next week, i7 265K and Z890 will be delivered. Awesome. I can't wait for it, Wasabi. I know you're pretty excited. Not a lot of people get really excited, or you hear too many Intel builds, so sometimes it feels good to go into a little change and to go into Intel, just to go back into it. And you probably got it for a awesome deal too, I bet. You probably got it for a great deal. Let us know how much you got it for. So, Bolt, yes, that's it, Crozer. Bolt's graphics cards. It makes a bold claim. Yeah, that's them. 100%. So, everybody out there, I gotta ask you, do you guys think that Nvidia will buy out Bolt if that's the case? If they find out that's true, say if it is true, say if they can manage to render, just say it's not 10 times. Let's go into real world. Maybe it's more like 2 times or 3 times. Well, which would, again, be insane still. But anyway, just say even 2 times better. Do you think Nvidia would go out to them and say, hey, we're going to buy you out? This is how much we will offer your company if you guys just set up shop. Probably CUDA, Zeus will need CUDA. I love the name, by the way. Bolt Graphics Zeus. That sounds like a demanding card right there. So as far as I remember, the founder of one of the people that came up with the Zeus GPU is Italian. That's awesome. I just, the crazy thing is I walked by them. I was like, man, I'm really curious about them. They were actually over, I think they were actually over in the main hall, Zeus. They were over at the main hall when I walked in. I think they were like right over by Pimax. I saw them like walking in. It was either that or they were in South Hall. But I gotta say, I wanted to go over to them, but there was so much to cover. I didn't even go over to the 3D printers like I wanted. Did anybody get to see the new 3D printers? Because I completely missed them. I 100% missed them. So his name Marguerite. Oh really? What's up, Ernesto? How's it going? Glad to see you. I was gonna say Margarita. Wow, that's a very interesting name. So, but as I was saying, I gotta say it's a bit exciting, some of the technology that they are releasing. Now for those who have the RGB tandem display right, I mean not right RGB, but the OLED tandem display right now. As I was telling everybody, it's not quite worth upgrading quite yet. As you know, you're going to be pretty much chasing a ghost at that point. There's no way you're going to end up catching up with tech. Anybody can tell you, as soon as you do purchase tech, you're always going to be behind in some sort of way. So happy Saturday, guys. Hopefully that you enjoyed the CES. And I want to throw out that poll for you guys out there. Let me throw that poll. Hopefully we get into better spirits, especially with the whole issues with the whole RAM situation, with the whole graphics card situation. Let's hope that things certainly get better in that way. So let's start off with a wonderful poll, as I meant to address to you guys out there, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts about this. So let's see. This will be perfect. Let's see. So I am going to set out this poll. Pretty simple. So I'm going to say, how would you rate this year's CES 2026? So let's do this poll, and I will set it out. And I think we're pretty much good there. Okay, perfect. Setting up the poll for you guys. So in order for you to vote on the poll, you just simply put the number down that you see, and you let me know what you thought of CES. And feel free, let me know why you felt that way. Let me know the reason why. There you go. So what would you rate the CES of 2026? Would you give it an A? I should have put it in caps lock. What was I thinking? Putting it all lowercase. Let me try this again. There we go. So mid D. So you just put, you know what? I should have put it as numbers. So you put 1, 2, 3, or 4 to make the poll move. By the way, so I know that's it's a bit counterintuitive, but at least but that's how you would vote on the poll, guys. So 1 for A, 2 for B, C, 3 for C, and 4 for D. Okay, interesting. So far we got C, we got D. Okay, so nobody's given. And if you give it an A, I would love to know the reason why. I would love to know. I want to hear your thoughts of it. So some monitors that excite me from your life. Absolutely. I think the Samsung monitors like excited a lot of people. LG was really hard to get to. I got some of it. I think I got photos, but that was it. But I have to go back into my footage to see what I got from LG. Zeus has some great monitors I'm certainly excited about. I love that ultra wide. As you guys know, I'm a big ultra wide freak when it comes to monitors. So the RGB, that RGB straight monitor is definitely one of the ones I want to go after for sure. Why did MSI make an? I know. You know, I didn't even film it. I was like, this is when I read that, I was like, what? Like all the features that it could do? That's just like cheating at that point. Like it says that that flashbangs will be much quicker. Flashbangs will be much quicker in competitive gameplay. So imagine playing like you're a competitive Counter-Strike player and you have that advantage where that flashbang ends like 2 seconds faster than everybody else does. Or even it has what they call AI aim assist kind of, which is like not really aim assist, but they have, what do they call that again? The aim point. It's like an aim point practically, but it's AI assistant to help you aim better. So so that's a bit insane. That, you know who that's going to attract. I don't even have to say who, but it's going to be some of those Twitch streamers out there. I hate to say, but it's true. You know it's true. So if you say C, make sure to put 3. Let me know. So the F guy who plays Battlefield on the Corsair AIO. Yes. So you can see, I can see that. I can 100% see that. What do I need to do to get to run on 8400? So what you have to do is okay, I can answer it on air just like this. So what it could be is actually the silicon. It can actually be the processor itself not allowing you to reach that grade. So what you have to do is run a ASUS's system in the BIOS, which is like practically an error check. I forget the name of it, but if ASUS is like one of the only companies that has this, but if you go in there and actually run it, I have to look up the name once more, but you have to run that check on there, and if you can, see if it runs through perfectly, or just tune it down just a slight, because you unfortunately a lot has to do with the processor itself. Your silicon grade might not be as high as you would hope it to be, so check out the grade as well. So that's from what I gathered. So did ASUS provide any info? Yes. So let's see. I give a 3 because there are some things I liked. 75% of the things was all about AI. Nothing fair about it. The most interesting, see, so somebody, there's some Razer Ava lovers out there. I see. Stop with Ava. I don't wish any of this BS. You know what's funny? I walked by another stand and I saw they had something like Ava too. I was like, that's really weird. That was really weird. The merch, yes. Oh, that's so weird. Why did the command not come up? Yeah, so no, I know it should have came up. Let me try again. Oh, now it comes up. That's weird. Huh. Yeah, the command should work. I'm gonna double check it as soon after for sure. It's there you go. Yeah, maybe caps. Maybe that's what it is. Did that work? WG900 Pro, what I want, not need it. Ah. Oh, you know what? I'll definitely check it. I'll check it out. So far, it seems like the majority of people gave it a C. Wow. So you certainly felt like the show wasn't all that great so far. You felt that that this year's CES 2026 was not all that great. Yeah, I gotta set that. No, it should be for everyone. B. So if you give it B, put 2. If you give it a B, you give it 2. Not too many people. I think there's only, I would say maybe only like a couple people gave it B. There you go. And that will move the poll. But yeah, so far it seems that, well, so everybody's thoughts. I gotta know. Like, what did you think of Razer's direction this year? Like when they came out with Project Ava, Project Madison. I think out of all of them, I certainly like Madison as one of my more favorite ones. Whereas the seat where it has the haptic feedback, I think that's pretty creative. Because when I was gaming on it, it was actually pretty dope. Like actually to feel the feedback when you're gaming, instead of like playing it on a controller. Cool monitors. Yes, the monitors were amazing. The displays were awesome, I gotta say. That was certainly one of the best showings when it came to CES. I love the 3D monitors. Even though it's everybody's like, oh, it's kind of like how a 3DS is. Not really. The best way I can say it is like a 3DS, like how it kind of plays, like you see it at a certain distance, but the clarity is much more different. It's like looking at the best way I can describe it is like looking at looking at like a 3DS, but just imagine the quality is like in 8K practically. Like everything you see is like crystal clear though. That is the crazy part about it. So 9850X3D news. Great question. They do exist 100%. I've held it in my hand. They certainly are out there. But there hasn't been any release date or pricing yet. They were supposed to release it a couple days ago. They were supposed to give the details, but I'm not too sure what happened. But soon you're going to hear something about it. What's up, Havy? Watch the CES show the Asus ROG X870E Neo motherboard looks dope. We'll wait for the motherboard since initially wanted to build with the X870. That's perfect. It's definitely one of the motherboards out there I am certainly excited about. I love how they got like that heat pipe on there, as it's practical as it's meant for like it's a 3D heatsink, so it keeps it much more cooler in that sense. So for it being a consumer electronics show, there's a lot of focus on enterprise. And I know there was that there was. I was kind of like shocked like when Razer announced the whole AI servers in the server rack. I was like, I don't I don't think too many people come into my channel worried about like servers and server racks when it comes to creating AI. But the difference is, I guess, with them, they use Linux, so it's a more open based software, so that you can use things like a Hugging Face in order to work on AI. If anyone's interested in that, please let me know. I could be dead wrong, but I see many of you gave it a C for a reason. Laugh out loud AI show. Um, no, not really. Handful of highlights, but that was it. I got really upset with Razer and Project Ava. I hate Elon Musk. Oh, just to let you know, Ava doesn't only run on Grok. It also runs on different AI programs if you want. So that for the example, they had Grok, but you can also use Project Gemini. I mean, not Project Gemini. You can also use Google's Gemini. You can use OpenAI's ChatGPT. You can practically use any AI software you would like. But the example that they had set was Grok. So I think it would be B Tandem if it was completely new, but they already had 3 Tandem OLED before CES. I mean, and Asus with the RGB stripe layout is yes. It's a step up, but it's not going to be worth anybody who has tandem already. If you don't have tandem and you're thinking about getting OLED and going RGB straight, man, you are in for quite the upgrade. I gotta tell you, you are in for an amazing upgrade. It's really an amazing tech when you see it. It's like when you see the writing, it's crystal clear. It looks like an IPS display practically when you're looking at it. It's quite amazing when you see it. But with the OLED tech. Ernesto says, for it being a consumer show, since there was a lot of focus on enterprise, yes, yes, I can say it felt like that, like with certain showings, like even I just hate the fact that when you walked over, one side was all consumer based, right? Like what you usually see in the consumer show, like this is what we want to see, and then the other side was all enterprise based. So you're like, nobody's like going to be really interested in it, but they were emphasizing us to like, hey, like, can you shoot this, can you shoot this, but nobody cares, to be honest, like in my audience at least. If again, if I'm wrong, please tell me. If you are into enterprise, if you are into enterprise, just let me know, because I know I get people here and there that are into it, but I could be wrong about if everyone is into more enterprise things. So I started using Linux, using Zorin and Fedora. Yeah, man, you are just stepping up over there, Ernesto. Yeah. So laugh out loud, AI show. So only 1000 was too low ball. Or should I wait for the 290K refresh? Well, one 8400 stable. I mean, it should be able to. I don't see why not. It again, it's all on the silicone grade. So when you get it, you want to, as you know, Asus's BIOS. If you look in there, they're the only BIOS that actually features that silicon grade in there. So see what it's graded. If you can get a higher grading, that's better. But again, it's all in the silicon lottery when it comes to your processor. So 100 Eyes says, I'm afraid that AI would affect the job marketing as it's already happening. So I am done with Razer, even that I know Ava can run in different AIs. They effed up too hard for me, and I don't want peripheral with AI. So, well, still to those RGB stripe OLEDs, most people don't want ultra wide, and only option that's not ultra wide is literally new Asus's flagship, and it will be like $1,200 or something, right? Yes, it should be. The score is SP92, so you would have to get an even better score than SP92 practically, and that's what it falls under. So SP92 is good, but it's not going to be as good as some of the other ones, since because there, it can even go higher. It could go to SP 102. Even 102 is like the highest grade you can get. Since I am working towards my bachelor's in computer information systems analyst, I should be interested in but not there yet. No, I get it. I get it. Anyway, have a wonderful day. I take care, everyone. See you. Yes, thank you for coming in as always. 100 eyes. I do appreciate it. So that poll has. I will disable that poll now. It seems that everyone has given it a grade C. So everyone has given it a grade C, and I can completely understand why. It's ironic though. I do have to say, most of the companies that had a decent showing, I'd say, yeah, 100, 100. Is that what you have? Simply Takuma? Is that your? Don't tell me that's your grade. I know. AMD did a great job with the 9950X 3Ds. They've literally like hand selected the ones for their 9950X 3D. Yeah, it definitely is. I know that's what you're pulling there. I know you're pulling at least 101. That's insane. But at least Asus, I gotta say, had a great showing. I felt their show was excellent. It wasn't really too AI based. Of course, they have some of the AI like PCs that they like to show off, like they call it that. Like when it comes to, especially on their laptop side. Gigabyte was also great. Except in the beginning, a lot of people didn't appreciate Gigabyte software, it seems. Like when they first, that was like the first thing what that they brought up during that whole VIP tour was that whole AI. That AI companion that you can have. You can build your AI character and talk to it and everything. So Gigabyte has their version of it. Of course, nobody has to opt in for it. If you're into the just the hardware, they do have that too, which is of course the RTX 5090 that they're coming out, Gigabyte's Infinity, 40th year anniversary. I know it's an interesting concept, and man, the fans are massive. They're literally like 140 millimeter fans, and it is thick. It's heavy too. So make sure you have a decent support for it. I'm sure Gigabyte always comes with decent supports, by the way, I gotta say. Let me throw in there. So if you are thinking of getting something like the RTX 5090 Infinity, definitely take a look at it. It's quite the interesting GPU. You might want to get your hands on it quick, because it's probably going to be one of those ones where it's going to be a very limited base who is going to end up getting something like that. Of course, you guys are familiar with the X3D motherboards that are coming out with, that are out with Gigabyte. And it seems that aesthetically, they are also bringing out the different versions of the Arrow. I know Wasabi is a big fan of it. The Arrow wood, where it's actually going to come with different types of wood grain. So you can actually not just get it in just one specific color. They might have one in, for example, they have one in oak, and then they might have one in another type of tree, like say maple or something. But they will actually have different variants of it that they are thinking of doing. So Dark South Tech says, I like the way the 5090 looked. Simon says, yeah, to be honest, why wasn't there any game-changing monitors? I mean, it wouldn't make too much sense to, yeah, because that's how tech is. I gotta say, on the tech front, monitors are never the type of tech where it just shoots from A to, like from say C to A. It's always the tech where it's very incremental. So in order to get like the best tech, or like to feel like a big upgrade, you have to wait quite a few years. I would say like a decent, I would say around like a decent 3 to 4 years to really see like a bigger increase when it comes to monitor tech. So if anybody has a monitor that has a tech that's between that range, then it's not really worth just like jumping up and an upgrade on a monitor, when you can have other upgrades that can certainly help you in a much better fashion. So uh also, let's see, Gigabyte's twin fan, but will be probably 5K. Yeah, it's insane. What I liked about Gigabyte's RTX 5090, and the Gigabyte X870E Arrow, X3D Wood, MSI's RTX 5090 Lightning Z, LG's G6. That's an amazing TV, I gotta say. That was beautiful. That TV was awesome. Asus's wireless motherboard for AIOs. Yeah, I think that's awesome, isn't it? Like those were some decent showings. I'm actually really excited for that one too, about Asus's motherboards, where the new Neo boards, all of them will provide that wireless AIO practically. You don't have to hook up 3 or 4 wires, and that's going to be a breeze. Just imagine all you have to do is connect the pump, just connect the practically the seat, the cold plate for the CPU, and then all you have to do is install the fans, which is which is going to be magnetic anyway, where you don't have to worry about daisy chaining even anymore. Everything's becoming less wireless and much more accessible, easy, and toolless. In fact, like when it comes to a lot of these fans, they have these like notches on there where you could just lock it in, and then you're pretty much good to go. Let me drink some water here. I'm already losing my voice, and this is all from talking to so many people at CES. Man, but I gotta say, um, it was quite the show. It was it was interesting, I gotta say, for the most part. I am excited for Panther Lake. Hopefully you guys got to see what the specifications are like when it came to Intel's Panther Lake. For those who are curious about getting a laptop, it is currently out. MSI is working on releasing their Arrow Lake MSI Claw, and same thing with the for those who are interested in the handheld section. And MSI also has their regular Claw, the MSI Claw 8 is where they have the Z2 Extreme for those who want the AMD processor. Definitely one of those. It's a beautiful handheld device, by the way. And the one that uses Arrow Lake is going to be it's the MSI Claw 8 AI. So what these are the highlights for me, but the rest junk and BS unless the things are M.2 in storage. The rest was compliant AI BS, and big companies showed their greed 100%. Yeah, they're it's just like I don't, it's like they want the business from AI. It's weird. It's I gotta say it's definitely a weird stage in life. I got another great questions for you guys. I have an awesome question. Here we go. This is gonna be the next poll for everyone out there. Do you think the fall of AI is near? And this one's gonna be a simple one. This is a simple yes or no. So, you guys ready for this one? So, do you think the fall of AI is imminent? Do you think it is near at this point because of how they've been displaying AI? So, you can vote A or B and let me know what you think. So, a waffle skater says, "Oh, I'm like way behind on this other one. Let's see. These are I hope the gaming PCs are still going to be a thing in like 10 years. It's crazy to think about, but with AI, no. Okay. So he's saying no. And that's because again, I can understand why. It's because they're trying to kind of force it down everybody's throats. So they're trying to get more and more people into the whole AI game. They want more. In fact, they're you have you guys been to have you guys watched the AMD keynote? Did you guys sit through the whole thing or did you guys ended up just leaving halfway? Just out of curiosity. Did you guys end up leaving right after they talked about the whole gaming side like probably like for like 2 minutes or so and then left, or did you guys sit through the whole thing? Because it sounds like companies like AMD, Nvidia, they're all investing into these kids going into school now to start learning AI, trying to pick them up early, trying to pick up kids early so they can get AI development, more AI development. We could hope the fall of AI is soon, but these companies basically have a blank check, so it's going to keep going. So no, the fall is nowhere there. Yeah, yeah, the sad reality of things. That is the sad of reality of things. That it's a shame because as you guys know, if you've been to my prior live streams, I've asked this question: how many people use AI? Would they be willing to stop using AI? And the majority of people had said no. They don't want to stop using AI. They want to keep using it because they need it for school or they need it for their work, and that's the problem. It's going to be a continuous need for it. And let me tell you guys this. Uh, I was looking for secret labs out there. I was looking for secret labs over at CES, and I was on Google. So I just went on Google. I was like, secret labs have a table over at CES 2026. And of course, as you guys know, Google has Google Gemini that also helps too on Google search now. So as soon as you type in something on Google, that automatically pops up. So I didn't really have time to like background check it or anything. I'm like, okay, let's just assume this is right. So it says, yes, that Secret Labs has a table and it's over at South Hall by this. I'm like, okay, so it is here. So they are here because I tried to message them. They didn't respond. I was like, oh, whatever. I don't have time to wait. So because it's important to keep moving at CES, you have to get to these tables. So as I walked over there, I went there and it was something else. I was like, wait, this isn't Secret Labs. So the guy starts talking to me. He's like, yeah, blah blah blah. This is what we do. So I'm like, hey, are you guys working with Secret Labs? Because I went to look it up here and it said that Secret Labs is also here. And they're like, no, we're not Secret Labs. Um, and they were like, we're something completely different. We're completely separate. It's almost like you got offended because maybe I wasn't the only one that was looking for them. So, so in any case, that just shows you the perfection of AI. That shows you the perfection of AI, and proves the point that it's not always right, and don't rely on it. So Waffles. So let me. Ernesto says, "Is their ultimate goal to replace everything about development about AI gaming made by AI?" I'm surprised. One thing I'm certainly surprised about is that Sony Afflia that they haven't like went AI with their card. They haven't really pushed AI. And speaking of which, I know this is off topic, and for especially for it being a PC channel, but I gotta say that's interesting. The Afflia card, they finally are dropping it this year. It's a really expensive card, but it's known. They don't want it to be known as a card. They want it to be known as a entertainment experience, and it's quite expensive. It's like between 95 to 105,000 to own one. So way worse, Chris. Yes, anything to save money on labor. uh, Waffle Skater, so funny. Anything to save. They promise them. It's like when you promise a kid, like, "Hey, it's all inclusive food. We'll pay for your flight, and all you have to do is give us the best AI code that you can give us, and you can call it a day. That's all we want from you." As long as if we provide you your travel, your food, and that's it. I use AI as a tool. Now work is adopting it into healthcare settings. Isn't that scary? Just imagine the implications. And we're gonna hear of it. We're definitely going to hear it. Okay. Here's a great question for you guys. Here's a good one. I actually got this. I got a really funny one for you guys because speaking of surgical robots here, speaking of surgical robots, if this happened, I'm curious how many people would do that. So, uh, all right. If I'm silent for a moment, I'm just typing the poll because I got to keep this question this poll kind of a secret because it's gonna be a hilarious one. And all right, you ready? So here comes the poll right here. It's about to come up now, guys. So if you could get a surgery that you needed for free, if you could get a surgery for free for an AI version, for like an AI version bot, would you do it? Would you do it? So, in a non-money hungry world, that'd be more exciting. But surgical AI robots scare me. What do you think about DLSS? You know how I feel about it. Yeah, I was like Intel's presentation was really good, right? Until they had to bring up that XESS3 does practically what DLSS 4 does, which is or frame generation does for NVIDIA, which is for one frame for you get 3 frames out of every 1 frame. So again, 4.5. I gotta say, I'm pretty sure everyone feels the same way, where it's starting to feel a bit boring when it comes to that fact. Oh, Awful Skater says, yeah, okay, awesome. I mean, AI can be helpful tool, just not on occasion, just not like for stupid stuff like Ava or peripherals for comforting things. It's funny. How many resources AI ends up taking up too. Like if you end up talking to AI and you're like, hey, can I how's the weather today? That takes up some massive resources. Like if you ask a simple question like that and you end up like taking up a vast amount of resources for AI to just generate you an answer on that. But people do it. People do it every day. They feel it's fine. They don't see the implications of it. So I'll share the video on the Discord. Robot being used to trade. Oh man, so there be people doing it. That's pretty wild. I'd be a bit nervous, to be honest, in my opinion. Havy says no, he's not gonna do it. I wonder why the polls hasn't been. That should be incorrect. It should move in a moment. So isn't that funny though? Have you seen the bill of for hospital stuff in America? Yeah, it's. Oh really? There you go. Now you got movement. It's weird. It must have been like a space or something. So, can you imagine that? Like, say if you needed some not catastrophic surgery, but say you need a simple surgery, something to say get rid of a cyst, and they're like, hey, we can use this robot to get rid of your cyst, and it's a massive cyst, so we have to cut you open to be able to remove this fatty tumor. Would you be willing to try out our new AI robot? It'll be completely free. We just want to make sure it's accurate. uh, yeah. How is the weather? 100. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. This is spot on what Takuma says right here. Yeah, how's the weather? 128 terabytes of RAM. And it's funny how AMD did emphasize it. Like they mentioned OpenAI is like pretty much abandoned. Like we need more. We just need more power. We need more memory. And that's all they asked for. Like it's and they said it themselves. They said it's never enough. They just want more. So and it's going to be infinite at that point. So far, nobody's gonna trust AI robot to do their surgeries. Make it closed AI. Well, that's what they're working on. So that was the big push for CES 2026. They want people that are a bit more eco-friendly. Again, sort of counter intuitive, if you ask me, as well, which is going to be running your own local AI. Now, if you run your own local AI, then it's closed source at that point. And that was a big thing that they were actually showing at the show. Like, instead of using a vast amount of resources, instead of waiting for an answer for, say, ChatGPT, because it's an open platform, you can create your own closed source AI. And some companies were pushing this so that way you end up using less resources. But the problem is you have so many people that also do the same thing, where say everybody starts doing it. No, not everyone's gonna be willing to start to uh, have a closed source system. As you know, it's going to take up a decent amount of electricity, and some of the bills that I've seen that they showed, like if you were to run a closed source system with servers running, I don't think anyone would afford it anyway. But anyway, the point is, if you did run a closed system, just say, it would just save you a ton of earthly resources, that it's a bit more environmental friendly. So, but the problem is if so many people start doing it, it's going to do the same exact thing anyway. It's just going to be, instead of just one local station, everything's going to be split up. So AMD should rename their company. So make your own AI, no subscriptions, and you use the whole server instead of sharing it. Yes, exactly. That's right, Squeeze. That's exactly what I meant. Ah, that's weird. I just realized it doesn't show Squeeze's conversation. That's weird. Let me try to auto find you real quick. There we go. Uh, yeah. So hopefully on the mobile guys, hopefully it's true. So Pepperell says, I heard about this new RAM. What is the difference between CU DIM and CQ DIM? Well, to be honest, currently it doesn't matter as much right now for us, because the problem is we're not going to see it anyway. We're not going to see the difference between CU DIM or CQ DIM, because we're going to, we're lucky to even get what we have now. I just got the fake LTT. Oh, really? Oh, that's annoying. Apologize for that, guys. I'll take care of that. There we go. So I mean, when it comes to PC gaming, I don't mind using AI if it uses giving me the best good FPS, as long as I'm not playing competitive. I was told it was supposed to be quad channel. All right, so CU DIM is what you typically see when it comes to your typical memory when it comes to your PC. That's going to be like your DDR5 type of deal. Now, when it comes to like more like a CQ DIM, it's going to be more like clocked memory. So it's going to be more needed for those who are like more server based. So nobody on the desktop is going to be worried about CQ DIM as much. So I wouldn't worry about it. Honestly, CU DIM is going to be good enough for most people out there anyway. The only other variation that they do have, again, it's Any type of variations when it comes to RAM, it doesn't matter as much for people who game or people who are going to be using it for things like your typical tasks, video production. A CQ DIMM is going to be meant for those who are more worried about like server based, like things like ECC is another thing where most people don't have to worry about, which is a bit more expensive. But yeah, CU DIMM is what you mainly need. So don't worry about any of the other ones. You're just gonna pay more for nothing practically. So uh, lossless scaling is terrible at generation straight lines. The AI thinks everything needs to be curved, so the game is way. uh, and the crazy thing is that this whole AI wave will continue. It seems that it's going to end up keep going. Unfortunately, not that it hasn't gotten a bit better. And you know what? We haven't got to go and check out the latest with Micro Center. We haven't been to checking out Micro Center all this week. So let's see what the changes are this week. We're going to go onto Micro Center right now. And let's see. And see how it is looking today, guys. Let me see. Right here. There we go. Now we're at Micro Center. So that's a pretty good deal. 550 bucks for 3-in-1 Intel Core. I'm assuming this is CL36. That's actually let's see, Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. And it also comes bundled with Crucial's Pro overclocking 32 gigabytes DDR5 6000 kit. Now the memory is CL36. So this isn't too bad. Not for Intel. For those who are looking for a bit more like for AMD, just say, let's see. Let's look at a AMD build real quick. See if it's changed any. So at least it's holding for the most part currently. But I'm sure it's a different story when you buy it separate, which we will look in a moment. So, for example, if you want a 9700X, okay, so a 9700X, you get a Gigabyte B650 AX version 2 Crucials. Okay, so it's been holding. It's about the same as it was originally. Yeah, it's not too bad, right, Ferguson? So somebody thought one day when their PC was hot, let's port. Yeah, and that's the crazy part. There's a really cool thing I got to show you guys from one gaming company where they actually have a modifiable water cooling system. You can actually have an AIO and a GPU practically like without a pump. It's with a pump, but it's built into the like say CPU. But I'll I have a video based on it. It's gonna be pretty dope. You guys will like it. I don't understand this new technology at all. It just sounds like hype and empty promises, saying things that are new and we're not going to come out and see it. And it's expensive. And mostly it's expensive. You know how new tech is. It's going to be the most expensive when you get it for them. So we're going to look up DDR5, guys. Look up 6400 megahertz. And let's see what we can find here. Oh, they are. They're pretty steady. Oh, okay. It doesn't even want to look for me. Okay, so we're going to have to manually look for it. So we're going to go to PC parts. We're going to go, okay, wonderful. PC parts. Let's look up DDR5 RAM. And for those who are curious about AM4 motherboards, those who do want to build a PC and you want to go AM4 instead, companies are pondering it. There's a reason why they didn't display it at CES because they're not quite sure. They are giving it some time to see how the volatility is holding. But they are certainly thinking of doing it. So actually the pricing is holding pretty well, surprisingly well. Actually it's $380. No, maybe slightly up actually. Because CL36 for G skills, slightly up. I'll know for sure when I see Corsairs for sure, because that was like around 405 about originally. And Corsair's Vengeance 32 gigabytes CL30 kit is $470. Okay, so it might be actually holding pretty steady. Not too bad. That's actually a good thing. DDR5 6000 CL30. What? That makes no sense. You might as well just go CL30 at that point. So they have CL36, 32 gigabytes for 442, And then you can get CL30. Let me see. The biggest difference is, yeah, they're both 6,000 megahertz, so you might as well go for CL30 at that point. That doesn't make any sense. So Curry's PC world, basically Micro Center, but in the UK will sell RTX 3050 PC for 3K sometimes. Wow, that makes no sense. I found out something new last week. I overclocked my RAM to 9200 mega transfers, and it didn't crash. uh, that's funny. Good luck on that. I'm assuming you're running an Intel system if you're running up to 9200 megahertz. Now, let's see. Crystal's 32 gigabytes, CL46, $300. So that's, again, pretty expensive for some high latency RAM there. Try 10K. I had to put a RAM. Oh, you have to for sure. Definitely. If you're running that high of speed. So, now let's go back to the RAM kit. So, if anyone is looking to build a PC, whether it's Intel or AMD, this is definitely the better way to go. Again, they have the better deals here at Micro Center. Now, let's take a look at Newegg. Let's see if there's any price adjustments. I am curious to see how they're doing. So let's look up their combos here. More options. I don't know how they're gonna have trouble like this, because when somebody comes into, you go into Newegg and then you're looking at AMD here, and then the first numbers you're gonna look at looks directly. What's up, Red Tech Ever? The RAM prices are now more on point this month. Yes. Yeah, I'm really curious about February. Um, Now take a look at this. So you see this the first time you log into Newegg, and then you see, oh, $935, but then you compare the price at Micro Center. I mean, like, come on. I mean, honestly, I know the processors are different and everything. Say you go 9800 X3D, which they do have a kit. Again, 9800 X3D, $680. And then it comes with the B650E and 32 gigabytes of RAM versus something that's $935. And you pay, again, B650. Let's compare the RAM. This is the key. Let's compare the RAM here. 32 gigabytes of CL36, $440. Now it's using SK Hynix. That's going to be the biggest difference. This is Micron RAM, so it doesn't matter as much on AMD because most people don't worry about overclocking when it comes to their AMD RAM. When it does matter, it's for those who do care about overclocking on a system. But again, AMD users don't usually worry about overclocking their RAM. Now, this has 6,000 megahertz, and this is, I'm assuming, yep, CL36. So that's probably the biggest difference right there. Mostly the biggest difference. You have a tough gaming motherboard and versus a MSI board that they give you, which is a B650, and it's the Gaming Plus, which isn't their best one. Again, so if I was to compare this kit, you're getting the same processor. That's equal. That's equivalent. When it comes to the motherboard, you're getting the better motherboard because the tough gaming motherboards are better than their standard Asus Prime motherboards. And then the RAM, you get a better RAM when you go with Newegg, but the pricing makes a lot more sense on Micro Center. So from there on, Micro Center has the better deal when it comes to it, especially if you have a Micro Center near you. So you get 9900X with X870E and RAM for 650. I know, and that's the biggest problem there. So man, not only is RAM pricing, but now GPU pricing is skyrocketing. 6 weeks ago, I saw my RX 9060 XTs. Oh really? Oh wow. You know what? Let's take a look at the whole GPU side. Say you want to get a RTX 5090. Not everyone's gonna have a ton of money to spend on a 5090, but say if you did want a 5090. Now it's been, wow, sold out. That's what it's been. They're all sold out. That's not good. You weren't kidding, Takuma. It's all sold out at my store. And they had over 20 of these. If you guys remember in my prior streams, they had over 20 Asus RTX 5090s, Asus Astrals. These are, you see how expensive they are. They're sold out. That is insane. So Dr. Blitz says Micro Center's 5090 GPUs have been sold out for a couple weeks now. Yeah, that's insane. That's not a good sign, guys. That is not a good sign at all. In fact, that's the dreaded sign that we absolutely want to avoid is this missing 5090s. All right, let's try 5080s because Takuma said the 5080s are impacted. So let's take a look. Oh man, slightly. They've been impacted actually. Because look, the Asus NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 is now $1,400. That's expensive. That's actually expensive for a 5080. Asus NVIDIA, it's an Astral, so we know they're going to be up there in price. But the Astral is RTX 5080 is $1,800. And originally that should be closer to more like the $1,600 mark. So they did go up in pricing there. So my Best Buy is almost out of 5080s as well. That's insane. You know what? Let's take a look at Best Buy too. And we'll look on Newegg, our favorite. So RTX 5090. Take a look on Newegg to see if they have any in stock. Oh, here we go. Is that the new pricing we're gonna expect now? Do you see it, guys? Do you see it? I'll click it if you. Oh, not this. Right here. Here it is. Oh, prices are going up on the 5080s, but you'll find them where as 5090s they are like 3 to 4K. See, that's it. I was telling you guys, the ones that went through with it are the smart ones because I was warning everybody about it, and they're like, "Oh, there's so many at my Micro Center right now. I'm not worried about it." And when they need it, they're gonna be completely SOL. You see? And the pricing phenomenon has continued. And there it is, right there for you guys. Pepperell says, has anyone on the iGPU Intel process? You don't need a dedicated graph. And that's the thing. I feel like they're probably going to end up pushing that more. APUs. I'm surprised that AMD hasn't announced the 9000G. I could have swore that they were going to announce it in the keynote. But I guess the 9000G didn't even show up, which is pretty crazy. What will the prices be in the 60 series? Still bought mines at 4080 and about 1,500 euros last card. I paid that. That's insane. That's why I got my 5080. Hold on, guys. I'm going to try to fix something on the chat. So I'm going to kind of return back here real quick. Because it seems that for some of you guys, the chat isn't showing up on the regular stream here. So I'm going to fix that real quick if I can. Oh, hang on, guys. Apologize about that. Let me see. I'm just trying to copy something over here to make sure it's working. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to add it in. It says add this as reply only bot with its own browser. It will not capture messages, but we'll still let you send them. What? Okay. Let me see. I'm going to try to turn it on and off real quick. I'm assuming it is. Let me see which one it is, guys, real quick. The N77IU. Okay, it's this one. So I'm going to try this again. After the window opens, sign in if required and confirm the chat is visible. Okay, give me a second, guys, and hopefully you guys pop up there. So I do apologize for those on the mobile side. I'm fixing that now. Okay, there we go. So means that's just not all 5K. Am I missing something? Wasn't it showed? I was read. No, they didn't show it in the keynote. They didn't show it in the keynote. They might have showed it after with the slides. That's probably why. I haven't kept up with slides recently. I know they had the only one I really kept up with, to be honest, is the 9850 X3D slide. Yeah. The 5090s didn't change pretty much in Poland from what I remember the last, yeah, from 2 months ago. You might as well take advantage of it. I wish that the rising prices of RAM and SSDs and GPUs might from the CPU prices from back of the hobbyist demand. I'm just missing the CPU and PSU now. Shake my head. Oh, that's like, so if you're just missing the CPU and PSU, that's a good thing. But I feel bad for most people out there that have to end up suffering and not being able to enjoy building a PC. I do like the fact. Here we go. We're gonna go back into it. So I do like how I do like the fact how they put pricing notice. I do like that how they put pricing notice on their page. So this is from QY Tech. So this isn't from Newegg themselves, but you can already see that people are already trying to flip their RTX 5090s. This is just the beginning. Here we go. And this is another one. Oh, this one's from China. They're selling it for 5,600. What if you did buy this GPU, right? And it's one of those infamous RTX 5080s with the extra 32 gigabytes. Here I am. I had stuff to fold from the drive. That's all good. 5090 started getting below 2,300 and all the retailers said, we can't have this near MSRP then the short. So much fun. Absolutely. Let the games begin. That's what they thought. That's true. It's my first time building a PC and I'm glad I dodged most of the price hike. But right before I apologize. I feel bad for anyone that has to go through this process because you should not have to go through something like this when it comes to building a PC. It's meant to be a fun hobby. It's nothing like building your PC and bringing it to life, watching what you built together come to life. And now that's nearly gone. And Newegg is completely sold. Wow. This is a US and Canadian site. So it's completely sold of 5090s. Now, most of the pricing that you do see, that's all going to be from, this is all mostly from second-hand retailers. Like this PNY RTX 5090, that's going to be definitely out of CES Group LLC. So that's not even a real group there. Should I buy, or that's definitely up to you at that point. Undecided if I should go with the 5060 Ti or the 5070. Yeah, I'm so I started in September. I thought the tariffs were going to get the price hikes. Who knew data centers were going to be the culprits? Absolutely. Data centers are kind of destroying the fabric of society at this point. It's like, it's insane. Even Micro Center, they barely have any. So if you have a Micro Center near you and you need a GPU, this is more than likely your time to get it. In fact, the Dahab edition doesn't look too bad, honestly. It's funny, somebody over in the chat mentioned this like when we were over at ASUS 2 days ago. When we went over to ASUS, they asked if they had the Dahab GPU there. So this isn't even shortages. I'm tired of it being called shortage. Yeah, it isn't. This is called being priced out. That's what it's called. Being priced out of affordance. Being affordable. What was the warranty on the 5K? I think I'm good with my 5080. Yeah, keep it. Don't lose it. Don't let anyone know you have a 5080. Especially if you don't know them. Be cautious. Is it possible to wait until May and PC? That is being to be honest, Mr. Pro, that is being hopeful. It is certainly being hopeful. A lot of this is like 2 times worth more than a PC. I'm curious about how the 5070 Ti's look. They probably went up in price too, I would think. They're probably in the thousands now. No, surprisingly, they're holding well. They're holding really well. So 5070 Ti is realistic. So if you're looking to do a build, honestly, a lot of people would be satisfied with the 5070 Ti or RX 9070 XT if they're going to hold. Is the GPU about to be on the Intel build? Straight up scalping and price gouging. Absolutely. It's disgusting. Germany 5090 low prices 3,500 euros in PNY. Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly. PNY is like the low brand here. My trust build GPU is to get 2. Yeah. You might as well have 2 GPUs at this point. I hope. This is kind of, to be honest, this is scary for a lot of people. It's even scary for us. Like I know there's a lot of guys out there think we're a bit more privileged because we could get like PC hardware. If we contact the manufacturer, we can get it, but that's not really the point of it. The point is our purpose for when we create and build PCs is to show everybody out there, and so that way you guys can be able to do the same thing and do like similar builds. But the problem is nobody's going to spend this money. It's going to be insane. At this point, it's a bit more realistic to go 5070 Ti for people to afford. So next GTA 6 will be delayed because probably, we probably get an AI version of GTA 6 before the actual GTA 6. eBay almost sold me. Scary. That's scary if that's the case. And Mr. Pro says, well then I will have fun to build one. I have a choice to bid for a mid-range GPUs go up a lot as well, like a 5060 Ti. It's a possibility if demand continues to go through the roof. I mean, look at this. It's the 5070 Ti is a bit more fair, but it doesn't make sense for me for a 5080 to be nearly double the price of a 5070 Ti. That makes no sense. We're gonna go to the price chart actually after this, because for it to be $1,400 for a tough gaming overclocked version makes absolutely no sense at all. The big three, you pay 3,700 to 4,000. Insane. I mean, 5070 Ti and 9070X. Yeah, exactly. For 1440. I mean, you can get away with it 4K for anyone who wants to use frame generation. as you know how we feel about the whole frame generation side. I think we're over. I think give it until next month. I think they said this in November, even in October, didn't they? Didn't they say the same thing then? Let's go take a look at the pricing chart, pricing graph for GPUs, and here we go. We're gonna click into it, and here we go. This is going to be the tell. We're gonna go straight to 5090s. I'm not gonna go straight to some BS here. Let's go 5090. Let's see. 4090s are, that makes no sense. That's so weird how they have a price. This has to be MSRP because it makes no sense at all. From what it sees, do you guys see this? You see how the 59, this is a 4090, guys, just to let you know. So obviously when it released at first, it was between that 2200 mark. That's what they said. But I remember it being closer to 1500. Oh, I bet. Yeah, 6 years would be insane. Jonathan Lopez says, I just found the 5090 for, oh, you better get it. I would get it. If you need it, you should get it. I highly recommend getting it because you're going to really regret it if you don't. Okay, so if you go forward, let's go to today's matter here today. Because when you go to today, if you guys can see it, it jumps up past $3,000. So that's not a good sign at all for those who are looking for a 4090. That doesn't make sense. For the 1590, what? That seems to be, that doesn't make sense at all either. I don't think this graph has been very accurate here. It's going to change for sure. I don't think January's really been thrown into here. 800 would be nice. Remember I said all 5090s can be. I know. Is the chart saying where? Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. The deep shading. This is so the whole deep shading. Let's go back to the 4090s real quick so I can explain it. So if you look at the 4090s, like back here, so this is like the stock that they had, and then when it goes here, this is when the stores don't have it in stock, and then this is, I guess, they go off of the metric of what stores have. And then once they realize what stores have, that's what that spike is. That's all that chart means. Yeah, we see a big crash in the market because nobody buys a 5090 for 6,000. And yes, that's the thing. You'll have massive deflation if that's the case. If that did happen. Now let's look at 5080s. So you see a slight uptick. It's saying originally, okay, this is where I remember the pricing a bit closer to like 1300. Not even. It was way cheaper, in fact. I remember the 5080s, you could get them as low as like around 1100 bucks, like a 5080. Yeah, like 1100, like around December. So even this chart's not really truly accurate. But those gray shaded areas and you see those blue lines are considering what those MSRP prices are. Like say out of Newegg, it just grabs random pricing throughout the internet, like Best Buy. So it's just predicting off of that. And I'm sure that they have like certain criteria where it doesn't pick up with like a third party seller. So that's why you're seeing it. MSI Lightning safe for 5K. Man, you have to be super lucky to get one. MSI Lightning for a great deal. Not a lot of people are going to end up getting that. If you have that card, you got to have it set. You have it. There's no way you're gonna set it up horizontally. There's no way. That's a vertical card right there. Make every gamer hate you. This is a gas out is hilarious. Make every gamer hate you. It seems like it. It seems like it. It's crazy. It's really crazy when you think about it. Again, the best one that has. Let's go to Best Buy because we haven't checked out Best Buy in a while. We're gonna check out Best Buy to see what they have in stock here. Let's feature top deals for the new year. I'm curious if 5090's in there. Let's go. Let's go take a look. See if 5090's in there. Okay. All tech that nobody here is going to care about unless you care about a HP laptop that's full HD. Okay. Let's look up RTX 5090. We're going to look up RTX 5090, see what we can pull out. And, oh, that's right. I forgot when Best Buy, I got like my dark mode on. Oh, they actually have one in, no, that's a 5080. That's an MSI NVIDIA RTX 5080 gaming trio for 14. Not really, it's a decent deal. I'd say it's very subpar average deal. The 5080, 5070 Ti. The 70 Ti's are not a bad deal. The 50. So if anyone's gonna build a PC, I would go for the 5070 Ti's. And you know what the crazy part, guys, is the fact that if you guys remember earlier in the chats or earlier streams, I had mentioned that when it comes to the let's go to Micro Center because you can see better because I got dark mode on. But if as I mentioned, Nvidia is going to stop producing these RTX 5070 and the RTX 5070 Ti cards because they want to focus a bit more on the whole production end when it comes to their 5090s more than anything, and when it comes to their larger cards. So they want to kind of get rid of the lower value options. Again, it's just like what Gaz out said, make every gamer hate you, because they certainly are. Because if you take a look on the Steam hardware survey, which we'll take a look together, in fact, let's look together on Steam hardware survey 2025, right, for the end of year. Now take a look at this chart here. So if you guys check out this chart, so this is going to be the average system that most people owns. So you take a look down here. Most people own Windows 11, no secret, right? Everyone uses practically Windows 11 at this point at 64-bit. Lock cases. Yeah, you're going to have to lock your case. Don't tell anyone you own a 5090. It's funny how Xbox did everything they could to gouge their consumers this whole time. I know, they did terrible. That's, you know, the one booth I didn't go to was Sony. I never had a chance to go to Sony, but I still got to go see the Aflia. Price to performance, the 5070 Ti is great. I agree. Same thing with the 9070 XT. It's kind of pretty much forced people into that suggestion now. System RAM is at 16 gigabytes is the average system. Now the Intel speeds are between 2.3 gigahertz to 2.69, so that's more like of like a 12600, just say. Physical CPUs are 6, yeah. So yeah, as we mentioned, video card description is NVIDIA RTX 3060. So that's the average GPU out there. VRAM is usually about 8 gigabytes. The primary display, 52% of users are using 1080p. Multi-monitor desktop resolution is 3840 by 1080 for those who have more than one monitor. Language is English. And now the free hard space is between about 200 to 500. So again, you're seeing a massive decrease in that. You have a bit more users who are choosing MetaQuest as a headset, but those are the numbers that they have. Now, when you click into it, you can see it a bit better here, and you can see on average how many people own of what. So again, you're not really even going to see too many 5090s. Like 5090s on the list, but only 0.36% of users match up for the whole 5090 side. So not a lot of people are going to own something like this. It means like a multi. So when they mean that, they mean like if you own 2 different monitors, and when they add it up, that's that resolution. That's what that means. So for those who use it for like a multi-platform purpose, like for example, they use one monitor. Like for the best description I can say is like for those who are into like simulators, like flight simulators, racing simulators, that kind of thing. So that's what they mean by that. I'm not going to buy it, but I want to see the price tag of Steam Machine. Wouldn't be surprised if they just cancel it. And the funny thing, they haven't announced a word about it. Thermaltake, I will get fans. I bet you we'll see it at Computex. That's probably when we see Steam Machine. We'll probably see the concept of it at least. But it's making me doubt it's going to be released this year. Yes, and you can use it for streaming as well. So, where is the 9060 XT on the chart? Nobody is using it. I'll show you. So if we look up, I'm just going to search it because it's a lot of choice here. 9060 right here. 9060. 9060. They probably threw it in the other category. Let's try 9070. No, that's no way. That's too hard for me to believe that no one's using it. Let's see. AMD 6750, 7700s. Let's go up here. 7600, 70. Let's see. 6600. Yeah, where is it? I know they were on the chart. That's insane. You see 5080s, 5070s. They should be closer around this side, you would think. But the majority of people who do get the card, you have quite a bit. That's on a 5070 Ti, 1.2%. Now, on the 5070, you're going to get a quite bit more, which is going to be up here at 2.28%. So, most users, let's see. I wish we can sort it by percentile, because that would be nice. But I'm hoping that MSI's Godlike case, or that's an amazing case, I gotta say. If you guys saw that case, it's so modifiable. You can just pull it out like directly. It's like almost like large Lego blocks. You can put in the case however you would like. You could set your power supply however you like. I do like the design of that modifiable case. That's fire, I gotta say. Worst mistake I did was selling my 1080 Ti to my firm. Oh, then all hell breaks loose with the card back in 2020s. Oh my gosh. 100%. That is insane. But let me see. I want to look up one more thing. So the system RAM. So believe it or not, 36% of people use 32 gigabytes. And 40% of people use 16 gigabytes. So that's a majority out there. Only 4% of people use 64 gigabytes. Only 1.2% of people use 48 gigabytes. So my old card is there though. The RX, yeah, it's a GOAT. Yeah, that's absolutely is. People are still gaming on it. In fact, some of you guys may know. His name's just slipping my mind too. I'll look him up right now. He's a big AMD. He's a big AMD guy too. In fact, I'll look up his name. You guys can take a guess who I'm talking about. And he said he got to test out a RX 580 like today. He went to test out a RX 580, and he said that he was still able to manage to play modern day games like Battlefield 6 on it, and it played absolutely fine. And this was again the RX 80, which is pretty insane, right? Let me see. Which is Frog Boy. I got to meet up with Frog Boy, and he mentioned that's what he was able to do with the RX 580. He was able to game on it perfectly with no issues. So Mr. Beast, it wasn't Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, I don't know what he games on. Let's see. Dreaming that hello, how is everyone? I got a RX 6800 XT recently, like for 330. That's actually a pretty good deal. To be able to get a 6800 XT for 330 is actually awesome. Playing on Intel. No, he wasn't playing on Intel. I think he plays on a direct AMD system. Like everything he has is AMD for the most part. But he was able to game on a 580 with no issue, just testing it because he was able to get it cheap, I think, on Amazon like for like $200. So he's like, what the hell, let me go ahead and just buy it to see how it performs. So he ended up buying that card, and it was working great. So earlier I said that price of the 5090 didn't change much in Poland, but I guess that it was much more expensive in there in the first. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not no joke. You think it probably was cheaper at the time. It's just the pricing has increased dramatically, which again, like just to show you guys, again, a decent card out there. That is a deal. In fact, it's like for this Intel build that I'm doing, right? It tempts me to go ahead and just get a AMD card, AMD GPU for it. But instead, I do want to build a decent system for you guys, and I'm definitely going to. So far, this is what we have for it. For project, not Snow. It's the next project over, Project Aura, which is going to be the X870E Gigabyte Ors Master. And I was waiting. I'm going to do a little bit more research to see where they are on the processor side. But I was waiting on Intel to drop their processor. We're going to do that. We'll get their processor, which we'll definitely go and do a stream sometime soon. In fact, in real life stream of Micro Center, we'll head out there and pick that up. And we have the RAM already available. All we need really is we have the case. We have just about everything. We just need a GPU, I think. I have to go down the list and double check, but for that build, I think we're pretty much set. So I snagged a 5060 Ti 16 gigabytes for $370 at the end of the year last year. Good move. I'm glad that you were able to do it. A global effect, absolutely. Great deal. It's K today. I meant we had 23% on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is the whole VAT tax, I know. Now, this Dahab Core Edition doesn't look so bad, right, guys? Especially for the pricing now, like for the 5090s. It's a shop now if you want it. Let's take a look. It won't even let me click it. That's crazy. We did see it earlier, though. It's right here. $1,900. They have an open box, guys. Anyone over in Miami that wants the Dahab Edition, they do have it for $1,700 baht. $1,700. That's Micro Center certified. Select open box, see warranty details. Okay, so they don't have it new. Someone did manage to buy it, and then I guess they returned it. I hope it works. Usually Micro Center is pretty good when it comes to their warranty stuff. So my setup is a RTX 3060, 12 gigabytes, AMD Ryzen 5 7500F. And when I put the new GPU, it'll be RX 6800 XT and the AMD Ryzen 5 75. Oh, okay. Quite an interesting setup, I gotta say. How can you tell if 5090 all the 5090s have AI? They all do. That's the biggest thing that they're pushing, especially with the LSS 4.5. You know what the crazy part is, guys? Is the fact that if you guys take a look at the performance levels between the this is what I've seen as between the performance levels of the DLSS 4.5 compared to say the 40 and 50 series are fine. They're great. They're phenomenal. But when you compare it to like the 20 and 30 series, they drop down as low as 15% in performance. So um, if you have the new driver and you have new DLSS 4.5 and you have a 20 and 30 series, you might not want to use that driver and you might want to go back and use DLSS 4 instead. So yes. Oh, knock. So oh, Noctua edition. Yes, they do have a. This isn't Noctua edition. This is Dahab edition, right here. So, I bought a Ryzen 7800 X3D, a 32 gigabytes DDR5. Open box. I know, right? Some people feel that way, but at this point, people are desperate to get a GPU now. But you bought ROG B650 Wi-Fi NTXT H9 case, 400. Oh, really? That's actually, man, that's a great deal. Where'd you pick that up at? Was that over at was that at Micro Center? Does Micro Center have a store in Puerto Rico? Out of curiosity. Oh, yeah, they do have Noctua right here. They have 2 in stock, they said. As you guys know, we did a build recently with this. Not a build, but practically like a refresh on the PC. We changed out the power supply, changed out the GPU, reapplied thermal paste. Actually, I'm using it right now, in fact, as we are streaming. So, steal of a deal, absolutely. Oh, I was not up to date. I was, my bad. I was $100 too low. I know, it's crazy, right? Considering I got my DDR5 in 2023 for like $100 in 2023. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to get it because not a lot of people were able to do that. Not a lot of people could take advantage of that. That's what you got when you got Noctua 5080. Got them confused. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm glad that they actually have it in stock. I like how they got the virtual store now. So I bought a Core 7 265K and a Z890 Meg Ace for under. I love that motherboard, by the way. And brand new for the RTX 5090 for founders. Wow. Talk about you reeling in a prize there. That's awesome. So I bought a so that is a cool card. Damn, it's so expensive. Yeah, it's expensive, but I gotta say, it's amazingly quiet. And the card I have right here that's sitting on my desk, which is no good, by the way. I haven't disassembled the card yet or nothing, which is this one. Uh, which is you guys might be familiar. Oh, I took it out by accident. You guys might be familiar with this card. This one right here, which is the Asus RTX 3080 Ti. This one actually had issues. So, yeah, this one had issues, so I had to replace it. I haven't had the chance to like really take it apart and take a look at it. Just out of curiosity to see what's going on with it, but I'm curious to reapply thermal paste and see if it works, you know. So how good is the RX 90? It should be you shouldn't have any issues with that. Running at 1440? Are you running it between 2560? I'm assuming 2560, or is it 3440? Is it that you're running? Soundproof. Yes. That's what so you're more of, I get it. You're an audiophile. So you prefer a bit more quiet. Yeah, sound. You care about sound, I should say. There we go. Put that back. So I bought a Core 7 to. Oh wait, I just read that, didn't I? That's weird. But I see you guys over in Sakuri. For some reason, I don't know why this isn't working properly. It should be working a lot better than this. Hey Sakari, can you let me know if you're watching on the horizontal, or you're watching on the regular live stream, or are you watching on the verticals live stream, on the mobile live stream? All right, I don't want to know how many ads Linus shot for all these different companies at CES. I've seen three. Oh, really? He shot like three different ads. It's crazy because I didn't run into him this year. I ran into just like about into everybody, but I didn't see Lineage this year. Horizontal. Okay, so it's the horizontals that's messed up. I thought it was these. Okay, so I'm gonna fix this real quick, guys. I'm gonna try to reset this. After the window opens, sign in if required. Okay. So hopefully you show up. Can you try typing again, Sakari? I want to make sure I got it working here. I want to see if you pop up because for some reason it's not popping up on the regular chat like it should. And I accidentally hit the chat on you guys. I apologize for that on the horizontal side. What the hell? But yeah, I gotta say for CES it's been quite interesting. I just asked everybody what their thoughts of it was. Why do I stream so early? That's what it's always been. It's mostly because I do have a lot of viewership in the morning too. But I do have a question for you guys. Are you guys interested in a later stream? Do you guys prefer a later stream? Because I can always do it later. So I know what you meant, but it's okay. Oh, there you go. Now you pop up. There we go. That's beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, it wasn't that if you're gonna hear me, it was that for some reason the chat window wasn't coming up, which I will make it pop up in just a moment. There we go. Beautiful. That's what I meant. But anyway, let's take a look here. Again, these cards, they're going up in pricing as it is. The RTX 5080 has gone up quite phenomenally. Oh, they had the ROG the ROG Matrix, which is pretty insane. It's crazy to see this in a store, by the way. I'm curious if it's sold in any store. But can you imagine pulling this card? That's one thing I forgot to ask them. I wanted to ask him about that situation. I wanted to ask Asus how they felt about that 12-volt high power port not being completely centered like it should be. I like the early stream. A lot of people do. It seems that a lot of people love the early stream more than anything. All right, so if you look up RTX 5090, for those who are just tuning in, we were just talking about this. You try to look up RTX 5090 at a Micro Center, and as you guys know, if you followed the earlier streams, not the CES ones, but prior to that, the streams were if it was about the looking at these cards, the RTX 5090s, they're all officially sold out. There was literally you can go back last Saturday, and there was 20 in stock of these RTX 5090s, and now they're completely sold out, which is insane. So the same thing with the MSI NVIDIA RTX 5090, the Supreme Liquid, the Zotac Arctic Storm AIO is sold out, and these were all in stock originally. Hope they fixed that. Dear Bauer did a video of that. Oh, did he? Had 3 in stock yesterday, sold out. Now insane that someone just goes into a store. Absolutely. Some of the people that just goes into a store ends up like just putting the money down on a GPU isn't always just us gamers out there. It's going to be people. There's types of. I should say there's 3 types of people in this world. You have us, the gamers, who just want to be able to get a most awesome card. For some reason, you want the best card, even though you know you're not going to fully utilize it. Some people will end up purchasing the best anyway. So you have number 1. Number 2, you have the people that come in there to be pretty much the scumbag of the earth, which is to purchase it because they know that they are selling out quick and that they can do a quick flip on some place like eBay to make a little extra cash. Not much, but a little extra cash. But you have those guys. And then number 3, you have guys that are interested into purchasing a lot of RTX 5090s in order to take advantage and create an LLM, create their own type of learning model, create their own local AI. So you do have those type of people. LSG, what's going on? I finally made it back to Miami. Made it back to Miami. So I wonder how people. Yeah, that's what they probably do. Most of the time, that's what most people do. Realistically, is throw it onto some credit. From a viewer standpoint, this is a good time to stream a Saturday morning for many. A large number. Yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of people enjoy watching something early in the morning. I feel this is perfect. Once people heard the 5090 might double in price, I knew many would be sold. Scalpers. Pretty much, yeah. 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 So you have those three type of people in the world right now. Wish I would be in Miami right now. Damn, it's cold and dark right. I gotta say, freaking Vegas is cold. Like it was cold when I was there. There was a couple days where it was pretty nice, but it was cold. I'm on a 5700X. Hey, nothing wrong with that. 5700X is a great processor, and that's all it took for everyone to jack up the price of rumor. Again, no stop and manipulation, absolutely. Because again, we took a look at the price charts, and the price charts absolutely make no sense at all. Because you look at, say, a 5070 Ti, they're actually very fairly priced. And a lot of gamers will be happy with this. If you're a gamer, you want to play in 1440p, this is the perfect card to go. In fact, if you guys got to see that stream, not the stream, but well, stream too, but I had a stream of when I was at Samsung's first event. And also, I had also had a video based on Samsung's displays that they currently had at CES. And if you got to see it, all those, you believe it or not, those 5K, 6K displays, they weren't running RTX 5090s. They were actually running RTX 5080s. I can't say that they were pushing 330 hertz, but I can certainly say there was no visible issues playing them. And again, like, so if you're looking for a card, you don't 100% need a 5090. Just getting home today, yes. As you can tell by my voice, LSG, I'm beat. I am beat. I think after this, I'm going to just pass out again, to be honest. Because after dealing with all our all the different representatives and everything, you know how it can be, LSG. It's very exhausting. It is super exhausting. Plus walking 15 miles a day at least. -4 in Fahrenheit. Oh wow, that is cold. That is freezing. I feel bad for you, Sakari. I'm completely satisfied with my AM4 system. Hey, I'm glad you're happy with it. Don't You don't have to get rid of it. Try to weather through the storm, because that's all this is. It's going to be quite volatile. And it just seems like it's just nonstop practically. I mean, look at this. The Asus NVIDIA RTX 5070 Ti, very fair deal, which is $830. The ones that are going to be out of control right now are actually the 5080s. The 5080s are much more expensive. 35 degrees and sunny here in Arizona. Awesome. What? 35 degrees Fahrenheit. I assume 35 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius, because 35 degrees Celsius is hot. And 3080 Super may have been made and comparable in 4090. Shame it would be okay, Fahrenheit. So it is cold. Yeah, because that's the thing. I know it can get cold in the desert for sure. 100% it does. Have finally made it to comparable 4090. Shame it does.
Bung Lao subscribe to the channel.
Awesome. Thank you for subscribing. I'm on AM4 as well as saving up for AM5. Smart. It's smart to get AM5. There's a lot of value in it currently. And as I spoke to a lot of the manufacturers out there, they are still going to push AM5. Some of you might be waiting for the new AM4 boards that you've probably been hearing on the internet. I can tell you, there's prototypes. They have ideas of it, but they're not sure to just quite release it, because they're hoping that this is just a volatile time, that this is just something the storm passes. Now, a lot of these companies like Asus and Gigabyte and MSI, they don't like this at all as much as we do, because obviously they really look for us in the consumer side too as well. So they're hoping that something like this does pass, as they are working with their suppliers consistently to try to figure out how to resolve this issue. So 5080 Super may have made it to the comparables of 4090's. Shame it's mostly yes, and that's a problem. That is the biggest issue, is because it's canceled. So that if you guys want a fancy card, you do have the 5080 Dahab edition. that they do have, and unfortunately this one is used. So you can get it for 1,700 bucks if you wanted to, if you guys wanted to. What's up, Takoro? What's going on, Capono? 1,500 bucks for 16 gigabytes of 50. Yes, it is wrong. 100% wrong. I agree. It shouldn't be. What's your opinion? RTX 5070 is decent. RTX 5070 is not a bad card. I'll show you. In fact, let's go RTX 5070. It's a great value for what it is. 12 gigabytes. You can get full 1080p. No issues there. You definitely can get it. You can even game decently on something like on 1440 if you wanted to. Of course, you won't max out at say like 320 hertz. Say if you did have that availability for your 1440p monitor, you won't be able to do this something like that. But you certainly could be able to game at 1080p very comfortably. 1440 probably up to say maybe about 180 hertz about. But yeah, great card for anybody out there that is on a budget. 12 gigabytes is enough, plenty of enough for you guys out there that are looking for something like that. So
Neb, Val, subscribe to the channel.
thank you for subscribing to the channel, Val. Now I do also want to bring up there, 5070 Ti is great for anybody out there that is pushing their 1440 to the max. Like if you're running at an ultra wide resolution, then it would be worth getting something like that. Again, it's a very awesome deal that you can purchase it for, especially for those who are looking for like a short form factor build. Then why not go for it? It's great. It's awesome. You can take it on the go with you if you wanted to. Build practically your own Steam machine. That would be fun to do. But with the 5070, you do have a lot of options out there. So, in my opinion, it's true value example 5080 versus the 5070 Ti. Why you have the text now alert? Text now alert? What do you mean the text now? So, in my opinion, is it true that the value example of the 5080 versus the 5070 Ti is let me see. No, it's truly a value between the 5070 Ti because compared to the 5080, yes, it has a bit more of a better clock and things like that. But not everyone's going to take full advantage. 5080 again could do 4K with no problem.
At Ernesto _ my fave tech super chat at $2. Thank you for your coverage of CES. Hashtag no sleep.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you, Ernesto. I do appreciate it. It was not an easy time. As you can see, I am so exhausted. I lost like probably a good 50% of my voice here. If you compare that to the value jump, yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense. It's like, just imagine if you could go, if you can do something like Sly. Remember a Sly? If you could do something like that with the 5070s, because you think about it, you could get two 5070s, right? 750 plus a $750, just say. Or in fact, say you get the cheaper one. Say you get the Shadow, where it's 550. You buy two of them for 1,200 bucks. And how's that make sense? How's that make any sense at all when you can get a? That's like the price of. It's still cheaper than the 5080. You can build two PCs nearly for that price. In fact, we should do something like that. We should just get a 5070 and just throw it on 1440 and see how well it does. Just a simple on a build of an Intel PC with a 5070 or a 5070 Ti, just to give you an idea. The stream alert is a text now app notification, or is it? Hey, did you? Yeah. Oh yeah. Frog Boy, I met Frog Boy. I met your favorite guys out there. Tech Source, he was out there. I met just about everybody. The only person I didn't get to meet was Linus. But yeah, everyone's cool though. I can say for the most part, I haven't met anyone that was like really that bad. All of them are good guys. A lot of them are. So what is I'm assuming what is the best CPU for CGI for 200 bucks? Or wait, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to translate through your question here. What is the best CPU, I'm assuming, for a CGI for 200 bucks? Go Intel, if that's the case. If you're trying to do more CGI, go Intel. You want to go for something more or so for, let's see, you can always go back to like the more of the 12,600, 12,700K if you're only spending $200. I usually recommend a higher CPU if you're trying to go CGI, because that's definitely a lot more important than a GPU if that's what you're trying to do. Because when you're going to do something like CGI, it's more or so production. So you want a best GPU, I mean best CPU, and more of a mid-range GPU. No, I did not. You know what? I did meet him. I think I did meet him. In fact, it's funny. I did meet him. I was watching his CS. In fact, he was over at where did I meet him? I met him over uh at Asus. In fact, he was at Asus. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. In fact, he's cool. He's cool too. Um, yeah, it's funny. I met like everybody but Linus this time. And ironically, I saw Linus last year, but he was pretty reserved last year. He seemed like he had a lot on his mind, so I didn't want to talk to him then. But then again, I'm pretty sure he's cool. In fact, I think LSG has met him. He could tell you how he was. I never got to really meet him. Think he's still real deal. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, a lot of the guys there are really good guys. They're all excellent people. Like anybody that you see, they're a lot of them are authentic guys. There's very, I could be wrong. If there's a guy that I gotta watch out for, let me know. I'll definitely, especially if you got one that's a bit sketchy, let me know, and I'll try to go find them next time and let you know how they are. Because something, of course, we also want to get into is see, hopefully things get better during the Computex time, because I'm really thinking of doing that event too as well for you guys. Um, because of course there's a lot more coverage when it comes to the PC area then. Oh, thank you. Hello. I also want to get a little bit of a 5070. I hope it's not bad. Game Oxine says, hello. I also want to get in a little bit of 50s. Oh, no, no. Yeah. 5070 is not a bad card, guys. In fact, I installed it for a customer, one of the customers I had, and he loves it. He uses it all the time, but he's one of the few people I do know that actually uses the whole frame generation when it comes to their PC. Damn it, this thing needs to get better one day. I know it certainly does. I am hoping Computex is the key. Make I hope it brings passion back into the industry, because that's what we need. I feel like everyone looks kind of fatigued. Everyone at CES looks a bit fatigued about the whole situation, and nobody knows how to really figure out the right answers. And as I would get close to figuring out the answers of things, even for you guys that are just coming in, I just have to tell you guys I did attempt to go to SK Hynix, and they would not let me in. They did not let me in because I did not book an appointment. And I said, you know what I should have done? I should have been like, oh yeah, remember I booked an appointment with you guys, blah blah blah. I should have done something like that to try to get in, because then we can ask some serious questions there. Because they're the ones that have the answers. They're the ones that I need to ask. And unfortunately, I cannot get in with SK Hynix. If I could, I would. I was going to drill them with some questions. So I want to go from the 9060 XT to a 12 gigabyte to the 5070 for ray tracing. US using hardware ray tracing isn't best. I can understand that. My godlike will be here Tuesday. I don't want to wait. Man, please take pictures of it when you get it. I love that godlike board though. It is a beautiful board. Please take pictures, send it on Discord. Would love to see it. I have this symptom that stutters my muscles. Would love those magnetic keyboards where you can, yeah, there are some incredible keyboards out there you got to take a look at. Check out Ducky. Ducky is one of those underrated ones. Ducky has some awesome keyboards that you got to look at. How did you feel about Nvidia? Not surprised. Campono brings up the whole NVIDIA meeting, their whole keynote. I didn't waste my time going over there. In fact, their whole conference was between Intel's conference. So I was like, I'd rather go to Intel's conference because at least I can expect Panther Lake for sure. But if I go to NVIDIA's, that's going to be just nothing but AI. If you had a 10K budget, not including the GPU, to build a AI and 3D rendering rig, what would you build? The rig would run two RTX 6000. Oh, so to run something like that, if you don't include, oh, are you thinking is that? Oh yeah, because that's right. You guys ended up getting it. I would say you definitely have to get a workstation motherboard for sure. 100% get a workstation motherboard if that's the case. Go Threadripper. Go max out on a Threadripper. You need to power up those lanes at 100%. So you want to get like a Threadripper, and you have to get a EATX motherboard. Something like, in fact, we could take a look at it right now. We're on Micro Center. What am I doing? So let's see if they actually have it under the deals here. Yes, yes. 5090 costs 2000. What about NVIDIA's ARC? NVIDIA's ARC. I didn't get the. So my apologies. I didn't watch the whole press conference. I never had the chance to when I was at CES. So I do have some catching up to do in some areas like NVIDIA. I do know that they released 4.5. I can say that most people didn't benefit from it who are on the 20 and 30 series. I know that for sure. Okay, here we go. Here goes a perfect example. And you can get even better motherboard than this if you wanted to, but this is like the perfect start there with a workstation build. And if you're able to, and this is running about 128 gigabytes, I think, of RAM. Might be even 256. No, that can't be right. They list it as 32 megabytes. Oh no, that's L2 cache. Where's the? That's weird. They didn't put it. We'll find out actually once we go further down. 128. That's what I figured. So it's 128 gigabytes. My Threadripper's old. It's a Zen 2. So it's a 39. It's a 3970X, but it still performs phenomenal. I still have 32 cores, 64 threads, and again, I have no issues with it. But I do want to update it when I get the chance for sure. That motherboard has so many exactly, and this is the perfect one for it because Threadripper would be able to power up exactly what you need. Most ordinary gaming, like say like a regular gaming motherboard, does not. The processor won't have the power to power up both lanes at 16. So this will certainly be able to power up your lanes at X16, whether if it, for both RTX 6000 cards, and you can even go up to 1 terabyte of RAM if you want to. Maybe even to 2, I think. I think it even goes up to 2 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1 terabyte. I'm sorry. 1 terabyte of RAM if you choose to. Oh, Zen 2 came out back in 2019. It released late 2019 into 2020. Get the Arrow TRX 50 from Gigabyte. It's still ATX form, but looks way more elegant. Yes, you can always change it out. We can take a look at that TRX. Let's look at all the TRX 50 motherboards here. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with TRX 50, what they are is workstation motherboards. And no, this isn't. Don't worry, it's not AI. This is just workstation talk here. You can use it for AI. It's up to you. But for my Micro Center, they only have the 3. They have the TRX 50 Sage, and they also have the Arrow D. But the which is right here. This one's open box though. That's crazy. You can get it for well, that's actually not bad. $600. But that's what it looks like, guys. If you have a Threadripper, so it runs some RAM. That's pretty interesting. They have the RAM running both sides. This one's more of the Creator series, but you can easily run it at X16, no problem. I think it goes up to X52. It's pretty insane, like how much lanes you can have with it. PCI Express 5, and you can take full advantage of PCI Express 5 on all your NVMe's if you want to. Not that old enough. Oh, you really think it's not that old enough? It's now we're on Zen 5. Zen 6 would be interesting. Because this is the current one, it's Shimada's Point, where they have their Threadrippers, and that's an amazing Threadripper, I gotta say. It absolutely is. Now, for anyone that's building PC, don't build the Threadripper. For if you are a gamer, this is more for like those who are interested in running like a pretty much like a server practically, or using it for heavy production usage. Like if you're a editor for say 8K films or something like that, that would be important. But something like this isn't going to be for anyone that's going to be gaming. You're not going to utilize it. Anybody out there that's thinking of gaming on this, it's not going to be utilized for that. You was thinking of the 9080 Threadripper, a good choice. That's actually a really good choice. The 9780, I think you mean, right? Is it 9780? I think that's what it is. 9780X. No. 90, is it 9080? AM5 Threadripper. I'll just look up. Always get thrown off with their. Oh, really? I just was on it. Let me go back here. Apologize for that, guys. 9970X. Yes. Because I always get thrown off because I think of mines and I always go off of the numbers of like the. Because I'm on the 3790, so I just assume 9790. Okay. That's right. The 99. So many numbers, guys. So many numbers. Here we go. So this one is the 9970X. Now the 9090, the higher one than this, I think it's the 9090 if I'm not mistaken. It would be the 9090X. And that would be even more expensive. 99, right? It should be this one, I think. Or has it not released? Yeah, 9970 is the most you can go. Yes, there we go. Thank you, Takuma. The Threadripper 99 the 999.5 WX. Oh, but that's like extreme. So if you get the WX, guys, if you get the WX Threadripper, that's even more extreme. Like that's like what's the crazy thing is if you end up getting something like that, that's just you're gonna spend, that's like your whole budget right there. 10K minus 5. Yes. In fact, let's look it up. The 95X WX. See if it comes up. There you go. That's like 11,000 and it's sold out. There it is. Heatsink, they emphasize the heatsink is not included. When I see the prices like these, I think used car or new platform. Pretty much for that kind of price, right, guys? And that's way over budget there. But again, that's just like overkill at that point. Way overkill for most people out there, in my opinion. Unless you're just insanely active. Let's see. 9980X. There we go. And we'll take a look at that. But yeah, this is the perfect choice for you. Threadripper 9970X, 9980X, the 9985WX. You know what the crazy thing is? I feel like we kind of breezed right by the whole 7000 series side of AMD's Threadrippers. But yeah, this is certainly one to get. They do have one in stock here in Miami. I would check out your local Micro Center to get the best deal for it, of course. I want that big boy for my LLM. Well, in my dream. Maybe one day you might surprise yourself that you'll be sitting right next to it and be like, I can't believe I did this. But again, For those who are interested in LLMs, yes, this would be awesome for it. Damn, I bought my 64 gigabytes of DDR5 G Skill Trident Z5 Neo AMD Expo at 1.4 volt RAM in August and it's gone up tremendously. That side has gone on tremendously, at least for 64 gigabytes. 32 gigabytes has luckily been holding, but I think that's going to be temporary, especially after the whole CES. As we're going to see that effect. Yeah, and no dual 69 69. They're RTX 6000s, which are really insane too, which is this. Is it by the ones that you got LSG, are they also the PNY ones like these ones? $9,000 each. Right there, 96 gigabytes of G7. But the funny thing is, if you guys are curious, they did run a test on this to see like how it would compare to like a typical RTX 5090 and like Monster Hunter's Wilds, and it wasn't that much of a difference. Like if you're thinking gaming wise, it's going to be like, oh, it's so crazy, but it honestly wouldn't be that much of a difference because essentially it's still the same card. It's just that it has more memory in it. I have AMD Ryzen 5 7500F 6-core processor. I'm going to check my RAM prices. Weren't those like 6K? Am I thinking of it? Yeah, they're expensive. Did I? Yeah, like I said, I'm exhausted. I am certainly exhausted, guys. So, from meeting so many different people and talking to so many different vendors, my nephew and I are building a PC. I will have to hide. Yes, yes. Good. That would be a good thing to do. Certainly hide the pricing of the GPU if that's the case. But they do have, anyone interested in Miami area, they do have 4 in stock. They do have 4 in stock over in Miami if you are curious. And but if you guys are curious about the RAM prices, let's go over to 64 gigabytes. I know some of you guys are more into that side of things. I get it. But if you are curious about 64 gigabytes of RAM pricing here, yes, it's insane. Here you go, $876.99 CL30 for 6,000 megahertz of RAM. So yes, the pricing is still very high for any type of RAM that you look at. Yes, isn't that crazy? You're literally holding something more than gold. RAM pricing, yeah, I don't blame you. It's not easy to get your hands on RAM. It's very expensive, especially those who are trying to get it. Here in Switzerland, it's like 6,900. Wow. They're founders editions. Yeah, pretty. Oh yeah. It's awesome. You got I should have went with you, LSG, to try to get my hands on one. I almost fell out my chair. Oh wow, really? What's up, Post on Beats? What's going on? I'm exhausted. I am certainly exhausted from CES. Hopefully you guys enjoyed all the coverage. I certainly have a lot more to post up that I will definitely push out. I got to push out 4 videos for you guys, at least so far, out of the coverage. But yeah, there's quite a bit more. Definitely quite a bit more. I got a lot of work to do on my end. My RAM costs now $1,600 at Escalate. And remember when we were complaining about like $500, $500 or $600 for 64 gigabytes for Trident Z Neos Royal? The Royal Trident Z Neos. Chillin', I'm glad I built my computers 3 years ago. Absolutely. It's just too crazy. I should have bought a truckload of DDR5 months ago. I think everyone would follow the same train. If you told yourself a year ago that RAM is going to be more expensive than GPUs, you would literally laugh. You would think you are on something at that point. Because think about it. If you told yourself like, hey, RAM's going to be seriously more expensive than your average GPU, especially if you get 96 gigabytes, you would think you're insane. I was just tagging along, laugh out loud. Then my boss handed me the cards. I wanted to. Oh, yeah, I bet. I bet. Oh man. 64 gigabytes or 128 gigabytes RAM. Yes, I didn't know what RAM was a year and a half ago. Uh, Now that everyone's definitely well educated on that subject. Only thing I missed out on the SSDs is 9100 Pro. Came out the week it finished the PC. Even DDR5 4 RAM has gone up at the same rate. Yeah, it's true because if we go take a look at some RAM right now, let's see. My brain is so fried right now. Computer memory, and we take a look at DDR4. And here it is. It's crazy, right? $603 for 64 gigabytes. Tell me how that makes sense for RAM. Your micro center has AM4 boards. Yet mine's had yesterday, which had none in stock, which is insane from the amount of DDR5 motherboards that they had in store. Yeah, it really is insane at that point. Because I mean, look at this: Patriot Vipers, $129 for 16 gigabytes. It should be nowhere near that price, not for DDR4. Oh, really? I have no idea. I did not read into that. How much is the short sticks? The short ones? What do you mean by the short sticks? You mean like as in height wise? My PC. Oh, okay. So usually that doesn't matter. Usually it's just like 2 slots. But if you're looking for the height, like for DDR4 you're talking about, like something like the Crucial Pro 64 would probably fit a bit better compared to like a large heatsink. Um, it's like $630, which is still very expensive. It's CL22 at that. That doesn't make sense. Let's see. Maybe Corsair Vengeance would be a bit better. Corsair Vengeances are $145, which are 2 for 8 gigabytes. What? On Amazon, that's a $30 max kit of RAM. I know, right? That's crazy. Until I took a class for CIS 105, I learned about random access memory. Bought it. I know. Isn't that crazy how life works at times? On Amazon, there's now a Kingston Furies for XMP 16 gigabytes for, wow. That's actually a decent deal. So definitely check it out if you guys need RAM for some reason. Or if you're just like getting into PC building and you just need it to, there you go. It's a great way to start. We went over the Steam hardware survey, which people are still using. There are actually a lot of people still using 16 gigabytes on the average. Right here, the average person has 40%. 40% of users has 16 gigabytes of RAM. So that tells you right then and there that it's still a very popular subject, at least for the most part there. But TL40. Yeah. But at least it's something. At least it's something to get started. You don't have to spend $400 or $500 on some RAM, which again can be insanely expensive. Or if you don't have anything at all, just get the kit. Start with the kit, the AMD bundles at Micro Center. If Micro Center is 7 hours away from you, it's worth the drive. Just make sure they have it. Don't drive there for nothing. Call them, make sure they have it, because let them know you're driving 7 hours away if that's the case. But it's worth the drive because you won't pay nearly as much when it comes to your PC. Anyone that does already own DDR5, take care of it. Keep it cool and don't push it too hard. Absolutely. Definitely take care of it. You want to uh, make sure to dust it nice and clear. clean out your PC. It's funny. It's a subject that we recently talked about because dust is definitely one of the factors that can certainly that do a lot more harm than good than most people realize. Even though you might feel like, yeah, my room doesn't have that much dust, but when you put your PC into the sunlight, you'll actually see how much dust is in there. Sure thing. I would love. Let me know the website, Jack. You can reserve the kits online before you. So it's so funny. I always think now when I think about reserving kits online, you know what I always think of? I always think about Corsair's debacle about when they had the 64 gigabytes of RAM that you were able to get in pre-order, but they said, "Oh no, no, this was a mistake. this was this was a mistake. It wasn't. This is the wrong price." You got a link to that Kingston? I'm not finding it. Going to the yards, yeah. You know what? You know what's funny? The most you can probably actually make out of a lot of those pre-built PCs that has RAM in it, um, because you might have those older people that just buy a computer, they will buy a PC, but it just sells their PC for dirt cheap because they don't use it. Quake Gang says I got 96 gigabytes of CL36 Corsair for 270 USD 3 months ago, and it's what. Isn't that crazy how that works? 32 gigabytes is the standard. It should be the standard today, but it's insane like how much people still use 16 gigabytes. But 16 gigabytes is a good starter though, to say at the least, because you can't run a PC without RAM, unfortunately. So, it's, yeah, yeah, take care of it. Having nice, nice hard box, nice steel case for it. Make sure to put a nice little don't make sure it's in an ESD bag, so just in case if anything happens, you have it nice and saved there. I have 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM and 4070 Super. Do I need more? No. I mean, what's your resolution, by the way, Jack? Because most of the time, most people don't need more, and unless you're running some, you're unless you got something you're not telling me. You got Samsung's new 5K monitor or something. I need a 65 gigabyte kit, but it's so insanely priced. I really want to rebuild this whole Threadripper build. I want to. I need the many people do. You're not the only one, super centric city. A lot of people need RAM. They certainly do. So, FanMem guys, I'm going to switch over to the members chat. So make sure you stay tuned. So if you have extra RAM sticks, yes. So keep it in ESD. Look for ESD storage. They do have that. Specifically ESD. That's where you would want to keep it. I'm at 4K resolution, and I've never. Yes. Most people don't. Like I said, you have to have extreme refresh rates, like crazy refresh rates. Like I said, it has to be like. Now the only game I've actually have it happened, which is because thanks to Call of Duty's memory leak back in Black Ops 6, I was able to push out like easily like 32. But again, that just didn't make any sense. That was their fault on their end. They ended up fixing it though. But so FanMem guys, I'm going to switch over to the members chat and subscribers chat. So make sure to, yeah, sure. Feel free to ask Rensler. You don't need the X870E X3D, the Pro Ice. I love the ice boards. Ice boards are awesome. It's crazy how many companies are having these new whiteboards. MSI has their version. You of course ASUS has their version now. It seems like Gigabyte really made that look happen, so to say. Is 4060? It's decent. It's a decent card. It's good if you want to game in 1080. But that's about it. So it's not going to be the best card out there. It's just a decent card. I usually recommend at least the minimum of 5070. Don't let the RAM fool you on that side. Will you give your prediction? Sure. I think it's going to be priced exactly the same as the 9800 X3D, and they'll just keep the 9800 X3D at like 400. That's what I would think, at least. But yeah, thank you guys for all coming into the stream. I'm going into the members only and subscribers only chat in a bit. Make sure to join the membership. I promise you, it's not expensive. When you look at it, you'll laugh. I am serious. Okay, so I'm switching over, and hopefully to see you guys on the flip side. And you guys take care and have a great weekend. Don't let RAM destroy your lives or GPUs. Thank you guys. Happy New Year, guys. Let's hope it gets better.